Oh yeah. How's everyone doing today? It's Tuesday. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it well. I had a really good time last night on the Hangout, and we're going to do some true crime tonight, so I thought, well, why not go ahead and do the Hangout early today? Oh, what up, Debbie? Oh, we're really good. Welcome to the Hangout. I'm Merc Radio. We got Queen Lux over here off camera, working from home. Looks like we got Debbie in the chat already. Debbie, our main one from day one.
Hi, Debbie.
Oh, Debbie fell asleep last night. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm really enjoying hanging out again. So I thought we'd roll with that today. You know, it's the Hangout. We've got no plan. This is just our time together. If you got nothing going on, come hang out with me. I'm in the Discord voice chat. I'm in the Hangout. There's no locks on it. You can hop in. If you're not in our Discord, there's a link in the description. Go ahead and join the Discord, and let's hang out. I've been scheming some music. The intro and outro I've been using are my music, so that's been fun. I felt a bit more focused with creative projects lately, and really enjoying this space. Boy, can it be fun. The days where I end up just chatting with somebody in the Discord and not going live are also fun. I had a day the other day where I went to do the Hangout and just hung out with Justin in the Discord for like 2 hours. Also been conquering the world with Chief. Excited to do that. I've been meaning to see if he's free Wednesday. See if we can't get a Conquer the World stream going. If you check out, there'll be a playlist soon after the next episode. We're going to have, we're going to slowly conquer the known universe in video games, the best we can. Right now we're playing Hearts of Iron 4, and I'm Mexico, he's the United States, and we're going to fight the Axis and the Allies in World War II. We're going to do all of it. I'm hella pumped about it. Also excited to see Allie Cattail's presentation tonight on the Summerwell story, because we all know that's a painful one, but it's the top of the Hangout. Everybody's still filing in and seeing that I've gone live, so let's say we check out the news a little bit. Let's see if there's anything popping off. You know, we ran late yesterday, so we're probably on top of the news cycle for the most part here at the Hangout, but, you know. Let's see, from 2 hours ago, tech exec used access to White House computers to look for dirt on Trump. Oh. Using special access to government computers. Oh, right on. What time is it in the UK, Deb? German Chancellor Olaf Scholz lays flowers at World War II Memorial. California lifts their indoor mask mandates. Let's check this out, because when California pops it off, sometimes it'll happen here.
Decision is causing some grumbling this morning.
LA County's mask mandate will remain in place until the county's transmission rate and hospitalizations start to go down even more. Just over 2,000 people are in the...
Getting kind of an early dinner, Deb. 4:25 p.m. That's the early bird special here. But hell, Lux and I'll eat dinner sometimes at 9 p.m.
hospital right now.
Just depends on what we got going on.
And nearly 2,500 new cases have been reported.
She lives that entertainment life.
More deaths. While LA County stays masked up, several of our local counties will follow the changes to the statewide indoor mask mandate.
CBS 2's Kara Finchdom is live this morning in Orange to explain what's about to happen. Kara, good morning to you.
Good morning, DeMarco. Starting tomorrow, many indoor locations, businesses here in Orange County and other counties are not going to require folks to mask up to go inside. However, schools all across the state, they will keep that mask mandate in place. Take a look. State health leaders say that this will continue until at least the end of the month. On February 28th, they plan to reassess all the data to see if the encouraging drop we've been seeing in COVID cases holds, and then give parents a timeline on when masking requirements might end. Statewide, the number of COVID cases is down 70% from last month alone. Parents we spoke with.
It's weird seeing the breathing shields in schools. That always weirds me out. That's a weird one for me to get over. It's just a strange one, you know. But COVID's been. I'm ready for it to be over. It feels like we're doing better.
I think they're kids. They should take it off. They're vaccinated. They're fine. They're not gonna get sick. Or if they get sick, they're gonna fight it.
It's reasonable and it's responsible. That way, since they're in schools together and they're always passing by each other, I think it's best if they wear the mask.
Yeah.
All right, starting tomorrow, as you mentioned, DeMarco, the state is going to lift its indoor mask
I mean, if they're fully vaccinated, a room full of fully vaccinated kids, I don't know if they need the mask, man. It's gonna happen if it's gonna happen. Yeah, I don't know.
mandate in
I gotta kind of agree with the truckers a bit with the, I don't like the mandates.
places like private businesses for vaccinated people, and Orange County has said it will follow California's lead on that. Individual
I have a mask and my vaccine card, though, so I have no need to protest. I feel fine.
counties, they can still impose tougher restrictions. LA County says its indoor mask requirement is likely to stay in place until at least the end of March. Santa Clara County also says it will not be lifting that requirement for now. Back here live, a lot of disagreement.
Oh, early dinner because you skipped lunch, Deb? Right on, Debbie. That, yeah. I know how that goes, too. We've done that. We've had dunch. Dunch and then late night Jack in the Box. You know? Done that. Done that. Oh, show. My glasses won't stay straight today.
On when that mask mandate should be lifted, as far as the rationale being used by the state of California in keeping that mask mandate in place in schools. They say so far only 1% of the school closures that have resulted because of COVID outbreaks have been in California schools, and we account for about 12% of the student population across the country. So they say it's been working. They don't want to lift it too soon.
Word. I get why they're like that. Maybe it's time to start lifting some of the mandates, letting people work. Maybe start evaluating what companies are paying people to work certain jobs, because inflation has gone up and nothing seemed to be worth it. But hell, I don't know. Let's see, what do we have here from Brian? Clothing found something. The family will be able to finally have peace. The Susan Powell case. I'll check that out. Let's check that out. Oh, Debbie. Yeah, okay, so your daughter's got to eat before 5. She's got boxing at 8. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, you don't want to go in there with a bunch of food on your stomach, for sure. That's, yeah. Okay. So let's see here. Susan Powell, says Brian. What do we got? Well, looks like another YouTuber covered it. Let's see if I can't strip this down a little bit. Here we go. From 5 days ago and then 3 days ago. Yeah, it sounds like they might have found her then. Found her remains.
It's a blessing, and I'm just so thankful that they're doing it. And I'm just Grateful that people are still looking for Susan.
They sure are. That is Susan Cox Powell's father, Chuck Cox, speaking today, joining the search for her remains in Utah. It's now been more than 12 years since his daughter disappeared and 10 years since her two sons were killed by their father just before he committed suicide in Washington state.
Over the weekend, a Fox 13 News reporter, Spencer Joseph, went out to the West Desert to cover the search. Today, he went back and found that Susan's father flew in from Washington state to be part of it.
This is what we live for.
In the nearly unreachable boundaries of the West Desert of Utah.
About 30 feet of thick dirt. We're going on day 9, I think, out here.
A team led by Dave Sparks is searching for the final resting place of Susan Cox Powell.
I was very fascinated with the idea of maybe helping find Susan. I've kind of just been following along ever since, and then we got a tip that there's a chance she's out here.
They're armed with the best equipment.
We pride ourselves on being able to extract, recover, or rescue items, people, whatever it is, that nobody else has ever been able to get to.
But on the 9th day of digging, there was a special visitor who's looking for any sign of Susan.
Is this theirs or is it something? I wish there was.
That's right, Brian. That's what happened. The father was a twisted individual and set himself and the children aflame. That's right. Unfortunate story. It really does sound. I'm interested to see what the DNA results come back as from the remains they found in this mine shaft on the Susan Powell case, man.
More.
I forgot about this one.
I'm glad for what they've got, and I want them to get
This popped off, what, 3 years ago?
back down and bring out more stuff.
This is Chuck Cox, Susan's father.
It wasn't going to get searched any other way, and I'd just be glad to find out, is she here, is she not, who is here?
He's been very invested in this process, just like we are.
After 12 years,
That's the YouTuber that I just saw a video from on the Explore page. He made it on the news doing this kind of work. You know, there's people like Dead Viper AU who just did like a 14-page essay on React YouTubers, but some React YouTubers and some people who simply follow the news or investigate true crime on the internet end up helping a little bit. So, you know, sometimes they can end up hindering too. Sometimes you have Molly Golightly's out there acting buck wild, but you know, this guy, he showed up and helped, man. This Chad looking individual, I bet you I don't like his fan base, but seems like a cool YouTuber. Seems like a good guy, you know what I mean? David Sparks reached out on that one. Right on, Brian. Right on. Yeah, he seems like a good guy.
he's never given up looking.
What up, Hazel? Hello. Hello.
It's pretty low that we're going to find something, but on the other hand,
How you doing, Hazel?
she's still out there somewhere.
But this has not been an easy process.
We've seen the good, bad, and the ugly, and this mine was ugly. The fact that this mine had been perfectly intact for 100 years or so back in November 2009, and then in January of 2010 the mine had been burnt and collapsed.
This seems to fit everything we would want, and I'm disappointed it was not checked earlier.
And they have found some evidence.
Bones, we're finding trash. We found a pair of pants that appears to be...
Oh, well, thank you, Selena. It's good to hear from you again. I remember you from the other night, Selena. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm doing
a small
good.
man or a woman's pair of pants?
I'm doing good, Hazel. How you doing, Selena? I've been feeling a lot healthier lately. Just trying to get into working shape, work a little more. You know, yeah, 4:33 in England. That's what Debbie was saying, Hazel.
We found
I love all you
article
UK
clothing,
Merkies.
found
Love
a
you
little
guys.
piece of tree wrap material, which, according to the podcast about Josh Powell, there was an opportunity where he may have gone out and bought this exact same material.
All of which will be given to her father and then analyzed. But this dig is also about a bigger idea.
We wanted to raise awareness of this whole case, make sure that people don't forget about what happened to Susan. I never knew Susan, but I feel connected to her in ways that I can't explain.
Yeah. See, this is the Sparks YouTuber, right? Yeah, that guy. Seems like a really nice guy.
And as bucket after bucket is brought up and searched, for Chuck Cox, it's one step closer to finding his daughter and finding peace.
it's a blessing, and I'm just so thankful that they're doing it, and I'm just grateful that people are still looking for Susan.
Ultimately, the goal here is to rule this out as Susan's final resting place, but they are hoping to find more in the next couple of days as they complete this dig. In the West Desert.
All right, his voice is pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys heard that, newsman, but his tone and his accent's pretty interesting.
Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I like it. I'm not mad at it. What an interesting update, Brian. Thank you. Goodness. What an interesting update. But yeah, that Sparks cat seems like a nice guy. I've never watched his channel or seen any of his content, so I always hesitate saying that nowadays because I think I've said, oh, they seem cool, and then people in the chat have been like, that's a right-wing misogynist, and I'm like, oh yeah. But he seemed nice. He seemed nice. Yeah, that newsman. Tonight at 8. It's going down for real. I'll let you guys lead the conversation. I'll pull things up at request if you want. If anybody else is interested in an update on a story or anything like that, you just let me know. And I'll be your Jamie. Pull that up if you want to be my Joe Rogan. I got you. I got the time today. Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. And Selena, tell me what it's like in Wales. How are things going? What's it like in Wales? Are you with the group of content creators that's thinking about making some content? Because you should. You should. It's a good idea. Creator positive here, man. I want you guys to make something. And come on here and talk about it. Also show you that YouTube and content creation sometimes can be open forum and free form. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Here's my thing. We're getting news right now. We're getting news lately of the Kremlin potentially having a diplomatic path and us being able to back out of this Ukraine stuff. But here's my thing. If that happens, I might go full conspiracy and totally side with what Special Guest is saying with like this is a cover up for a lot of the stuff that's happening during the Biden admin. My conspiracy brain has been working a little overtime lately, but it's just because I've been back into true crime, and normally the true crime that I cover has police corruption to some degree or just the police not doing their job. Like at best it's the police not doing their job in the true crime that we cover around here. So like I've been conspiratorial as all hell, but like if we pull out if there's a diplomatic reason and nothing actually happens, but all of this media was dedicated to it for so long, feels like, you know, a coordinated psyop on all parts. What if geopolitical powers got together, and sometimes that's the agreement. We just all need a break we just need the media to talk about something other than what we're about to do in the room where it happens. So everybody look away and look at that. Surely it's happened at least once that we can prove. And if it's happened once that we can prove, it's bound to happen again. So I wonder how much of this Ukraine stuff is actually, you know, because again, I got my conspiracy friends calling PSYOP or calling distraction. If not PSYOP, then distraction. But it's always felt like Putin genuinely wanted to annex Ukraine for forever. Let's see, from 4 hours ago on CNN, Trump Org's accountant says 10 years of financial statements are unreliable. Well, why would that be? I wonder why that would be. Look, I'm not even going to waste the time. I'm sure Trump, yeah. Oh no. We have some true crime out of Chinatown. Oh no. Honestly, you never really see news out of Chinatown unless you're living in New York, huh? That's how that seems to go. Let's see what we got. Let's see again.
Good evening.
All the respect to the victim possible.
Johnson, that suspect faced a judge today and was arraigned on multiple charges.
CBS 2's Allie Bauman live at the scene with that new information about what happened in the moments right before the attack. Allie.
Maurice and Christine, sources tell us that Christina Lee likely did not even realize she was being followed down the block and up the 6 flights of stairs to her apartment. Her suspected killer stayed silent as he faced a judge for the first time tonight. Prosecutors allege that he committed this crime while out on supervised release for 3 other cases. And we want to warn you, some of the details in this story may be disturbing.
So hard to police and govern people, man. So hard to police and govern people. Oh, Hazel, yeah. I like Boris Johnson for the same reason. No, yeah, for the lulz, Trump is an endless well of laughter. I mean, he make you laugh. I mean, he's hilariously not applicable for the job of president of the United States. And it was funny watching him go through it. And watching a man who has no precedent set for what the expectation is of being president. It was funny watching him react to just how little privacy you get in that position and how much scrutiny. Like, everything you do is scrutinized. The president before him wore a tan suit and got grilled on a right-wing press. So, yeah. Nah, I feel you there, Hazel. He made me laugh too. Boris Johnson also makes me laugh, man. Like, you know what I'm saying, Hazel and Debbie? Where it's like, it's got to be... I'm sure it's not nice to have him as prime minister, but... You know, he won't confirm or deny how many kids he has. He had these COVID parties. He kept fucking up COVID restrictions. But it's like, dude, you're the one giving the speech on what to do and what not to do. How are you not following the rules? So they're always funny. They're funny. Yeah.
Flowers now adorn the China.
Oh, yeah. This person in Chinatown sounds disturbed. Selena. You know, again... Strange to see a high-profile crime like this come out of Chinatown. You almost never hear about Chinatown in New York. Beautiful spot, though, man. If you're in New York, yeah, make sure to hit Chinatown. Make sure to hit the little Korean area, too. Man, there's a cool Korean area that I like in New York. I forget where the hell it was. I felt like I went through a Doctor Strange portal of skyscrapers and ended up in Korea. But it was one of my favorite places. Not just in New York, but on the East Coast, period.
A town apartment building where 35-year-old Christina Lee was killed early Sunday.
I jive well with Koreans, though. We just get along, man. I grew up around Kuksulwan and stuff like that, so shout out Korean people.
Just a nice, sweet, cool, great human being. Everyone loved her.
Monday, 25-year-old Asamad Nash was arraigned on murder and burglary charges.
Whoa. What drives me nuts about this particular character is, again, he had priors. He was out on, like, a supervised probation for prior. He had, priors out the ass.
Police say around 4 a.m. Sunday, Nash followed Lee to her 6th-floor apartment on Christie Street, pushed his way inside, and grabbed a kitchen knife. Neighbors heard Lee screaming for help and called 911. According to the criminal complaint, when officers arrived, the suspect imitated a woman's voice and called out that they did not need police. About an hour later, officers knocked down the door. Prosecutors allege they found Lee's body in the bathroom with 40 stab wounds, naked from the waist up. And they allege Nash was hiding under the bed, a knife tucked behind the dresser.
I didn't kill nobody.
Nash is homeless and has been arrested 7 times in the past 7 years. He had been out on supervised release for charges that include assault on the subway.
Many of the crimes in our community are committed by homeless individuals who are mentally distressed.
Sources tell us there is no indication the suspect knew.
Yep. This has... Okay. We have a homelessness issue. That's what this is tying into. That's the issue here, it sounds like. Something we see where we're at. Homelessness.
They came back out because it's hot again.
Yeah, it's warm again, so the homeless people are back. And on crack again, which is, you know, you have people outside doing algebra real loud. It's a problem. It's a problem. But we're a country that is supposed to be compassionate to everybody, and we need to show these people something. We need to do something. Again, we spend so much money shooting trash into space. We can't pop up some more HUD housing.
Before allegedly following her home.
We deserve to be safe, not feel safe, but be safe.
Very true.
In our city, in our home.
Monday, Chinatown residents and AAPI activists gathered to demand city leaders overhaul how New York handles homelessness and mental illness.
I understand the need for real housing and real care for those who are most marginalized. However, we demand plans. How does the city assure us?
Well, and the mentally deranged, you end up with, if you end up, I don't know, the homeless people I see for the most part, they do seem to have something mentally wrong with them. And I think it's because their options for housing and care are outside of a lifestyle they maybe want. And, there are perfectly sane people who have decided to be homeless. I'm sure everyone's heard a story or two of somebody who gave everything up and they're just homeless now, or like a veteran who's suffering from PTSD, which again, that's a mental affliction, but I'm talking about the severely schizophrenic. They were schizophrenic in their youth. All they've known is group homes, youth homes, orphanages, and, the most freedom they've ever felt in their life is being homeless, some people. And, so it's like from the ground up, from how we take care of children in need to how we take care of any human in need. I feel like we need to have a real hard reevaluation on that here in America. I mean, the evidence of why we need to reevaluate is everywhere. Tent cities. In every metropolis, there's a tent city. And they're just getting bigger.
That this tragic attack does not happen again and again and again.
Prosecutors say Nash was also found with a stab wound to his torso and cuts on his hands and shoulders. Investigators believe Lee was trying to fight him off. Nash was charged with murder, burglary, and sexually motivated burglary, and if found guilty, he could face life in prison. We're live in Chinatown tonight. Ali Bauman, CBS 2 News.
Ali, thank you.
Oh, man. We're 30 minutes in. If it's legal for you like it is for me, it's recreationally legal where I am at. Smoke them. Smoke them if it's legal. Smoke them if it's legal. Selena asks, what do y'all think of homes first policies? I think that having a stable home is a primary need for most, and having a home can help give you the strength to tackle addictions and health problems. Homes first policies. I'm not sure I'm familiar with the play. Is that United Kingdom centric? In the United States, what I'm familiar with is HUD housing. We'll build it with like cheap apartment complexes, or the government will take over and renovate cheaply an apartment complex. I don't know. It's illegal, but I don't see no FBI. Hey, you sure you're from Wales? It's that time. I wait till 30 minutes in the best I can. Depends on what I got going on. News Nation Prime with Martin Hughes. I'm good.
Evening. I'm Maurice.
We were checking out this Chinatown crime. That's just crazy. Alderman Patrick Daley Thompson found guilty of federal tax fraud case. Huh. See, we're having a lot of busts of people who are guilty of some schmod. And a federal judge is dismissing Sarah Palin's libel case.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Feel free to hop in this Discord, lady. If you want to hear the news that I'm watching.
I was going to. I was checking emails and haven't really gotten all my stuff together.
No rush.
Just got this interesting.
Sarah Palin gets no justice. Let's hear why from Shepard Smith.
Announcing he plans to dismiss.
Shepard Smith almost makes me believe in the reptilian conspiracy. Like, just the shape of his face almost makes me believe in, you know. Oh, it's an approach in a Nordic country. See, in most, you know, and I was talking about this the other night with Renz. Renz is in the Netherlands, and you know, he's got enough space that the mandates don't make sense for his lifestyle. They shouldn't be applied to him. He at no point before COVID was ever really within 6 feet of somebody anyway. Like, he's got enough space. He's in a nation with enough space and room and, you know, socialized infrastructure to kind of take care of some people. So for those countries, stuff like that makes sense, Selena. But here in America, sometimes it can get tricky. You're having to allocate space. You have a bunch of people, because of our capitalist infrastructure, gaming for space all the time. You know, housing first. Hey, that would be nice if we could just prioritize getting these people in homes. But I think prioritizing care and just mental health care needs to be something we really evaluate here. We have a lot of people, and it's a big, big problem. And the states aren't taking care of it. The states aren't taking care of it. In fact, children go missing through state CPS all the time.
Sarah Palin's libel case against the New York Times. The judge ruled today that Sarah Palin had not proved the paper acted with malice when it published a 2017 editorial that included an inaccurate statement about her.
I think there has to be a compromise, though, Selena, between finding compassionate care and keeping our capitalist infrastructure. I think our capitalist infrastructure, you know, the pros in that Venn diagram are massive pros. You know, with capitalism, you have innovation by way of competition. And without that, there's just things we wouldn't have now. And I want to keep that. There's some things we gotta fucking socialize.
Palin's lawyer said that statement wrongly suggested that Palin had incited the shooting against Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. But here's what's interesting. The jury is still deliberating the case. NBC legal analyst Danny Savalos tells us that this is pretty rare and that it could have an impact on any appeal. You see, if the jury issues a verdict for Sarah Palin and the judge dismisses, it'll help her on appeal. But if the
keep pausing to address the chat through this, but that's what the Hangout is for, guys, so get used to it. Debbie, yes, in the UK, you guys have supported housing. One of the things I really liked about the UK series Shameless, you know, is you can... It felt like the house was never necessarily in question unless it went up to the council, but then there was always a way for somebody to live in the house that was like the main house in Shameless. Like, homelessness was never necessarily around the corner like it is in the US series of Shameless. If you want to see even just a subtle difference in what it's like to live in the two different countries, those two shows are probably a good spot to check that out. You have the American Shameless, which is misanthropic and sad and, you know, high budget. You have the lower budget, hella comedic. It's not nearly as misanthropic, the UK Shameless. I love UK Shameless. I love UK Frank. You know, they're living in Manchester. They're in what's functionally a hub house. He gets a disability check. It seems like their basic needs are met. It's the extra shit he has to do sketchy things for. Like, he has to go to a pub and kind of game for drinks and stuff like that.
The jury issues a verdict for the Times and the judge dismisses, that appeal process would be more difficult. The judge said he'll formally dismiss the case after the jury
Selena.
returns its verdict.
Absolutely, Selena.
Shepard Smith.
You know, that's another thing too. Our rise in things like autism and people who are functional but on a spectrum of not neurotypical behavior. There needs to be a space for them. You know, of course, we're going to see more of that as a population grows. That's just how it goes when you're not doing horrible things to people who are disabled or letting them die when you're taking care of disabled. You know, it's a good thing in my opinion, and we have to provide a space and build an infrastructure for also jobs for people like that. I think there's plenty of jobs that people who aren't neurotypical can compassionately work that will keep them, surviving in a capitalist infrastructure. It can be hard. Whoa, this is from 3 hours ago. This just popped up on the feed here. Vincent Simmons freed after 44 years in prison.
Who?
Vincent Simmons. I don't know, but he's been in prison for 44 years. Let's check this out. This is crazy. I don't know if we can jam that song, CBS Morning. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Arguing he's been wrongly imprisoned. After more than 44 years, Vincent Simmons is now...
The area around the Cecil Hotel, Debbie. Yeah, homelessness is crazy here. And you know, that area around the Cecil, it looks an awful lot like our back alley sometimes. Like, it's kind of gotten bad all around in America. Like, if you're in a big city, the alleys, the areas where there's dumpsters, places like that are tore up from the floor up if there's not just someone straight up living there. Like... Or just smoking heroin by your back window, like we get sometimes. We'll have people just smoking heroin by our back window. I think it's back to crack now. 44 years, guys. 44 years, Hazel. Let's see what he was wrongfully convicted of. And I hope it was DNA that got him off. You know, this kind of wraps around to why I'm not for the death penalty, man. I don't like that.
Free man.
I don't like killing people.
The judge ruled he had not received a fair trial back in 1977 when he was convicted of attempted aggravated rape. The decision is partly based on evidence that's been available for years. Our lead national correspondent David Begnaud recently sat down.
44 years for aggravated big R, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm pretty sure there's active free people on registries guilty of aggravated big R. Mm-hmm. How the hell did he get 44 years? I thought for sure he was in...
Are you legitimately asking that question?
No, I just thought for sure he was in jail because there was a body.
Yeah, no. I didn't think that was the case.
Like, that's
with Simmons' accusers, twins who were 14 years old back in 1977. Now he has spoken to Simmons. And David joins us from Angola, Louisiana. David, good morning. What incredible...
Brian says the old laws, yeah.
The old...
Vlad, good morning to you. Hello, everyone.
This whole thing is when a law changes, it should affect the sentences of the people currently in there. You know, we've had people come through the show before who have loved ones who work in that field, kind of getting people... reduced sentences because of changing laws because they were locked up for like a pot offense back in the day. They're serving like a 20-year sentence, and it's like they wouldn't even be arrested for that nowadays. Let them out. Let them out.
It's very, very clear we're not doing that anymore.
Let them out.
Get with the times.
Oh, put a murderer in there. We have an active, a guy who killed like 3 people is still probably in the same town. Daryl Brown. If anybody sees or hears of Daryl Brown, call the authorities.
Listen, Vincent served 44 years here at Louisiana State Penitentiary, but he was supposed to serve 100. That was the sentence. For the last 30 or so years, he kept trying to tell judges, I didn't get a fair trial, and here's the information, and they just dismissed him left and right. Get out of here, get out of here. But yesterday, there was a judge who said to him, I believe that you did not get a fair trial. In fact, that judge's daddy, nearly 30 years ago, dismissed.
Sorry, this newsman just said that judge's daddy, but he said it Southern. That the judge's father. Judge's father sounds like a straight daddy, though. So
Vincent's attempt, but this judge said your
he was the
rights
southern
were denied,
father of a judge.
violated, and you get a fair trial. And we were there for all of it.
Time to let him go, y'all.
When the shackled Vincent Simmons arrived at the Avoyelles Parish Courthouse in a prison van, he was carrying a Bible. When his accusers, Karen and Sharon Sanders, the twins that he was convicted of sexually assaulting when they were 14 years old, walked to the courthouse, they paused to pray. Simmons had been in prison for 44 years and tried for most of that time to get his conviction overturned. You've done this 16 times, at least.
Yes.
So this would be 17. You think this will be the time?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no. Well, okay. So, Debbie, habitual offenses in America can get really complicated. It really depends on your behavior and how they evaluate you once you're in the system. So, my father, for example, is a habitual offender, a habitual felon, but, you know, has reformed and proven himself. He's always been a trustee or something like that, or worked a job while incarcerated. So, like, no, like, you don't really get life if you've been jailed 3 times here. But they start treating, they will slap an extra charge on you, which is habitual offense, or they suspend a sentence from your past, and then they'll just reactivate that sentence, if you will. So, like, let's say you catch a charge for like a 20-year sentence, they can suspend the sentence, let you out, but if you get caught again, you're going to serve the rest of that 20 years. Does that make sense?
We walked along.
But that's one of many different things that can happen to you in America's legal system, though. You know, and there's not a lot of resources for the lay person to kind of understand the legalese that they're slapping on you when it start. You know, I've known people, it starts as a traffic ticket and then turns into a 2-year stint in a county jail, and it's just because they're a lay person. They don't understand fucking legalese. They didn't realize they were even late on a payment or had a warrant out at some point, and then they didn't realize they caught an FTA, a failure to appear in court, and it can just stack here in a weird way.
Alongside Simmons as he was about to face a judge who had recently examined information that was available in 1977, but it was not presented at his trial. That was information that he and his attorneys believed may have changed his conviction for attempted aggravated rape. It took less than an hour for Judge Billy Bennett to say that there had been a lapse in Louisiana justice in 1977.
You free, brother. You free. You're free. Done.
And that Vincent Simmons deserves a new trial. And that is when the shackles came off of his feet. The district attorney said he will not retry Simmons.
So happy to see you.
His accusers, Sharon and Karen Sanders, now 59 years old, decided to stand down.
He went in guilty. He's guilty now, and guess what? He will die guilty.
You ready?
So I'm happy. Yeah. I got 44 years.
These hateful asshole women, dude, they were wrong. You wrongfully convicted somebody, man.
What was that moment like for you when you realized that what the judge said meant you were a free man?
Yeah, it dawned on me. This is it. You know? Man, we've been waiting all these years for this.
You'll turn 70 on Thursday.
On Thursday.
Did you think you would die in prison?
Yes. And I had visions.
Horrible.
Of the prison gates opening up. And I'm walking through them.
Are you mad at anyone?
No, I'm not mad.
So you're not mad at the women?
No. I'm not mad at them. I mean that. When I told them I forgive them, that's what I mean. Forgiveness.
The judge said several times on the bench, I do not know whether Mr. Simmons is innocent or guilty.
Right.
Does it bother you that you walk out of here a free man, but with...
Oh yeah, Debbie, to answer your question, yes, there were a couple different states, I think, that employed a, if we jail you for pot 3 times, it's a life sentence thing. And it caught a few different people. But no, or wait, excuse me. There was one guy who caught a life sentence. John Lennon did a concert for him. And yeah, it's tragic.
The suspicion by some people that you may still be guilty.
Well, I still believe that even though I'm out, just like people gonna be people. And some of them gonna say, oh, he's guilty, despite the fact that they had no evidence.
But before he could be free, a remarkable thing happened. Louisiana prison officials required that the shackles go back on.
What?
So he could go back to prison to be processed.
I'm just telling you, he's a free man.
And though his lawyer pushed back,
You can't be in jail tonight like that. That's not like that would not be a good thing.
he would load up again and travel another 2 hours back to Louisiana State Penitentiary, the largest maximum
word
security
special.
prison in the nation, where at sunset, Vincent Simmons walked out of the place he has been held in since he was 25 years old.
Hey, man, I want
He did it. He did it.
The judge said on the bench yesterday, I want to be clear, I'm not telling you that Vincent Simmons is guilty or innocent. I'm just telling you he deserves a new trial.
Yeah.
When the district attorney stood up almost immediately and said, Judge, we're not going to retry him, that meant the charges at that moment were dropped. When Vincent walked out of here last night, he said he wanted a crawfish dinner. So he got it.
Hell yeah.
What's next for him? He says he wants to leave Louisiana and start again somewhere else.
I bet.
Wow. Well, David, we can certainly understand that. Congratulations to you and your team for a lot of hard work here. There were a lot of people involved working on this case for a lot of years to bring Vincent Simmons into the outside world as a free man. You mentioned he's free but not exonerated. So I do have a question. First of all, who met him there? He was hugging two ladies, and there were some cheers. I'm curious who was there. And also, is there any hope of restitution for the 44 years he paid for a crime he says he didn't commit?
His sisters and his attorney met him here, and there is hope, but it's going to be hard. The DA said he would essentially have to go to what is a trial and convince a judge that he can prove his innocence. Proving that he's innocent may be difficult, but when you say that he had a lot of help, Tony, it's important to note, every attorney who helped him was simply using the information that Vincent had obtained himself. Nobody believed Vincent when he stood up in front of a judge by himself, but he kept trying and was expecting to die here in prison. But instead, after 44 years, he won.
And the tragedy is, David, there are so many more Vincent Simmons out there. David, we thank you so much.
So many more Vincent Simmons out there, man. And those old white ladies were upset, man. Oh. Yo, Good Morning America caught the engineer that was caught trying to sell nuclear secrets. Dude, he put these nuclear secrets on a cell phone. Let me pop over here to this, see if I can't hop in VC chat, see what special guest is talking about with what we got. Because again, like I said at the top of the show, if this turns out to be diplomatically resolved within the next few days, I'm probably going to feel pretty conspiratorial about it. I'm probably going to feel like it was what special guest is talking about. Uh-oh. No one's talking about this. Let's see here. Let me just copy this link. See what we can get going on here. See if it'll let me. Uh-oh. Prince Andrew settles SA lawsuit by Jeffrey Epstein victim, Virginia Giuffre. They settled. A lawsuit accusing Britain's Prince Andrew of SA, an underage girl, while she was under the control of criminal Jeffrey Epstein and his procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been settled out of court. A court filing revealed Tuesday the sum of money that Andrew has agreed to pay his accuser, Virginia Giuffre, to settle her claims against him was not disclosed in the filing, which also said the prince will also make a substantial donation to Ms. Giuffre's charity in support of victims' rights. A related document says Andrew regrets his association with Epstein and commends the bravery of Miss Giuffre and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others. He pledges to demonstrate his regret for his association with Epstein by supporting the fight against the evils of sex trafficking and by supporting its victims, that document says. He's trying to make a hero turn in the press. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Prince Andrew is settled out of court. He's making all kinds of press statements. This is crazy. That's horrible. You know, definitely probably the reason UK is involved. Here's the thing. I think here's the thing. If Russia and Ukraine is PSYOP cover up, each side will have a reason to get the press off of their back, right? So Russia's going to have something, we're going to have something. UK is going to have something. Everyone involved is going to have a little something, you know. Canada, which Canada's got plenty to hide. We already know about Canada. We already know what we got to hide. I don't really know. Russia, everything. Russia's always hiding something. So yeah, I think, yeah. But yeah, Andrew's going to get dragged. I don't know if this is going to work or if they're going to, you know, you got Boris Johnson in there as prime minister. It might be. Oh, sorry. What?
Did you hear about Charles and Camilla?
I know they got COVID.
Well, Camilla's gonna be queen consort.
Yeah.
So now they're like in the process of planning their coronation.
Yeah. No, well, they should have already planned that coronation, in my opinion. The queen's old as hell. But yeah, no, because of the Royal Marriages Act, we will see Queen Camilla. She's gonna be queen consort. Yeah. No, absolutely. That's legal now there. It used to not be.
Yeah, but they're really trying to push it right now to get Andrew out of the way.
Oh.
Because I didn't hear anything about decisions on Camilla until
the Andrew stuff. Oh, okay. That might be, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just trying to tie it.
Yeah. Hey, Camilla would take the bullet for the family too. She knows how the press will drag her, and she's ready for it. Like she's tough. Yeah. That's a tough woman. That's a cigarette smoking, mean step grandmama, dude. That's Camilla's tough, dude. Queen consort, man. Yeah, yeah. We'll see Queen Camilla. That's when we lose monarchy. Because we don't want Camilla as queen, says Debbie. Yeah, I think that nobody believes Prince Andy, so that this latest statement isn't going to sit well with survivors. Hell no, Selena. Well, and, Selena, I don't think the survivors are going to like that he's trying to, act like he's supporting victims' charities now. Mm-hmm. Like, that would make me feel horrible as somebody who was involved in one of those charities. I'd be like, you won't be involved in mine. Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yeah. But that's, Debbie, I that's what I believe, is that the people on the ground are not fond of Camilla, and understandable. You guys had Lady Di. We had Princess Diana, and her memory is big, her shadow's long, and Camilla will always have to deal with that. But my point is, she's kind of already scarred and weathered to dealing with that. So I think if there's something big in the press that pops up, I think Charles and Camilla could probably be like, hey, I'll hop in front of that. What are they going to do? Are they going to write about me in the tabloids? What are they going to say? My pussy smells bad? Like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do that they haven't already done to Camilla? So, yeah. If I was her, I'd be like, hold my beer, Andy. And then I'd light a cigarette and hop right in front of it for him. So, yeah, I get it. I could see that. Conspiracies. It could be that the Ukraine and Russia stuff is one big psyop, one big distraction from things that each nation involved has going on internally. And we are all a mess in the wake of what Rep. McLaughlin referred to as that Trump bullshit. So I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, the public can vote for no more monarchy. That's true, Deb. That's true. And you're gonna see every generation the big debates. I've seen them actually 3 times in my lifetime already. I'm only 30. Is the monarchy over? Is this the last monarch? Is this gonna be is this the last time? Is it over? Are we gonna vote it out? I don't think so. And I hope the UK keeps monarchy. Look, I think you guys have a very evolved system. I think there's a lot there. You have traditions older than the country I'm in within your governance. That's huge. Keep it going. Just keep it going. Just maintain, find the balance between civility and governance and just keep it going the best you can. It's something that is, if there is an ancient history for that country, it's finding that. You guys are the people that developed the concept of royal majesty. Like, it's part of what you do. It's part of what you do, and I don't know. I hope it stays around for culture's sake. But I'm also a crypto monarchist. If I probably would have been on Hamilton's side with, we should control. We should have a cultural figurehead, and maybe somebody to help talk to the Protestants. Can't be the worst idea. You think it was Jameson says it was a very smart move by Roberts to settle. Jameson, outside of just in the realm of legality, how do you mean that? Because I understand how it's smart in the realm of like you're dealing with a political figure and there's intelligence agencies and espionage and potentially assassination attempts. So like outside of like how dangerous it is to do something like sue a prince, what do you mean? Like it because of his wealth, because of who he had defending him, because of the system how do you mean, Jameson? Intrigued by that. I think so again, but I think it was smart of her to settle on for a different reason. It's for safety's sake. She's not credible. Settling was smart because she very well could have lost. Yeah, absolutely, Jameson. It did seem easy for the press, for even one half of the press, to smash her credibility when she first brought up accusations. So I could see how, a really good defense attorney could really smash her credibility in front of a jury. I get what you're saying there, Jameson. Makes him guilty. Why settle if innocent, says Debbie. Yeah. I mean, yeah. To try to maintain some, I don't know. I think a lot of what Andrew does is dictated by Parliament and his family. So I think there's a bunch of different filters he has to go through before he does any public action that we can't even fathom. So I think there's a lot of reasons why he would have settled, and I think a lot of it comes down to mommy said so. Or mommy said try, Which, I feel ya. If it's legal where you're at and you got them, burn them. Just another friendly reminder for the algorithm. It's recreationally legal to smoke marijuana in the state I'm in. So. I think I just reminded Lux too. It's that time. Yeah. James says, I don't know about that. Settling can be wise depending on who you are, though. I know this. If you accused me of that and I didn't do it, get ready for war. Straight up, Jameson. Okay, so yeah, you kind of also agree with what Debbie's saying and what our UK cats are saying, which is like, yeah, it's kind of an indictment of Andrew's guilt settling. But I think again, like the filters he has to go through know he's guilty, like we all do, If you,
so yeah, you're gonna pay her one way or another.
Yeah. If you use a VPN for your state, does that count? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Used to be sponsored by a VPN, but they're not actually, like, if they are subpoenaed for your information, they still have to provide it. So if you're found guilty or are suspected of having committed a crime to the point they can subpoena or issue a warrant for your actual online information, they're going to get it anyway, no matter what you're using. I think it can go both ways, but no chance I'd settle. Yeah, I would definitely fight the fight and maintain my innocence the whole time. He's also an incredibly poor public speaker. He's lost a lot in the last little bit of time, but that I won't lie, that article infuriated me. Like, if I could put my whole hand in that man's mouth, I would. In Prince Andrew's mouth. Like, I hate that. It was more of his, like, the way his statements are like, we're gonna do all we can for victims charities now, and it's like, dude, you're the worst. Well, and we're coming off fresh off of watching a story about somebody who was wrongfully convicted for 44 years of the same thing he should be on trial for. You know. He also looks like your stereotypical predator as presented by pop culture, says Jameson. Yeah, Andrew kind of has that kind of rat fink quality to him. Absolutely. The most kind of mouseish of the crew. Look, there's always two kinds of Windsors, a wild one and a cool one.
Sorry, I got a really weird email just now.
About what?
Well, I set up this discount for this promoter, right?
Yeah.
And I asked them for the password. So then I'm like, cool, it's all set up and it's going to be ready to go on this such and such date or whatever. And the email I got back was, great, so what's the password? And I'm like, you sent it to me.
You're the one who decided it.
Yeah.
You decided the password, I established the password, and now you're asking, is this a vaudeville bit? This is what my response would be. And he'd be like, that password doesn't work. Is this a bit doesn't work as the password? He just goes further into a vaudeville bit. Man, I went back down a history of film rabbit hole when I had COVID. Just fell asleep watching video essays on old film. Oh yeah. Yeah. SA charity. Yeah, we wanted your accountability, not your accountant, Andrew. Yeah, fess up before you pay up. Exactly. I mean, I think all of it would mean a lot more to those victims' charities and the victims involved in those charities if they saw some justice happen for one of their fellow victims, as opposed to a bunch of money that he probably in no way earned, is probably stockpiled on his part from his, you know, his royal allowance or whatever. But especially because it's not likely to happen. The worst that's going to happen to him, yeah, is of no longer being a royal, and that's already happened. Yeah. 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 I got a feeling you'd probably see a civil conflict over monarchists having rigged an election to keep the monarchy in before we see a vote out go down. Just because of the existing, like the still living old monarchists. that are out there, man, with them deep pockets. Your Maxwells, your people like that, you know. Also, your strange European, your other European interests. You know, they've been slowly kind of feeding and building camaraderie with other monarchies, the best they can through Elizabeth's reign. So, again, just strategically, I don't know. I would predict you'd see a civil conflict over a faked election, or over them covering up a vote out before you see, you know, them successfully vote out the monarchy. I don't see it going peacefully because of some of the people involved. I think Elizabeth, if the people voted her out, she would take it. She's like, all right, I'm gonna move to this mansion and be what I wanted to be. I don't give a shit. I don't think Charles would. I don't know. Charles also, you know, you get the Black Spider memos. You have him having a history of rubbing shoulders with some of the big wigs in the military, and, you know, keep in mind they make sure everybody in the royal family is served in the military and has some kind of respect within it or clout somewhere. So you have to get a lot of different angles against the monarchy, I think, for it to successfully leave without like a massive civil conflict. And that's the tricky thing about civil conflict on the island. What are you guys gonna fight with? What you gonna fight with? What you gonna fight back with? Knives? If you didn't turn them in, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Civil War there's a little different it's a different conversation than Civil War here. You know?
Federal judge announced.
Let's go back to the news page here. Let's refresh this sucker. Let's see if anything's popping off again, man. Moscow says some Russian troops returning to base. It might be happening. It might be happening. So they're moving troops away. It might have been just a big old cover up for everybody. Everybody might have just needed a minute. They just needed a break in production. Okay, the press is finally reading the Brian Laundrie news, so they're getting their plays on it. Here's 37 seconds from
524, there's new information. The final autopsy of
524.
Brian Laundrie concludes he died from a gunshot wound to the head. Laundrie is the man who claimed responsibility for Gabby Petito's death before taking his own life.
The new documents reveal that his body was probably under up to 3 feet of floodwater for an extended period of time, which likely is what made it so difficult to find him. Authorities did find personal items at that scene, including a backpack with a tent and a wooden box that contained a small notebook and photos. The FBI says Laundrie wrote in the notebook he was responsible for his girlfriend's death.
524.
So yeah, no, nothing new there. But now we can officially hashtag the video Brian Laundrie and probably get more plays. So you've been baited, gang. You've been baited. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry if it's hiding anybody's chat. I've got it open here to try to moderate better. What was that? He is disgusting. Seems a very cold personality. He's evil. He is evil, Debbie. Straight up. Or is this the decoy for something else Russia have planned conspiracy? It's all of the above, Selena. That's the thing, is if you have powers working in seemingly it would be across the board. They all need to do it for if not the same reason, a similar reason can be assumed. So, you know, apply Ramsey theory. There's only one of two options. All of them could be in that room together. There's 6 parties involved in the room. They all have 2 options. They either know each other or not know each other, which means that it's a coin flip mathematically. If there's 6 of them, let's say. And anyway, math out of it. Russia's got to be covering something up. America's covering something up. We know the UK's got stuff to cover up. So let's just say the Anglosphere in general. Like, I'm sure we have like 8 things we need to not talk about in the news and talk about Ukraine instead. Ukraine's had all the press in the world. More people know the current leader of Ukraine's name than probably ever have in the Anglosphere ever. Yeah. I smell conspiracy. I smell it. This could lead to going bankrupt, says George Conway. About what? Oh, about Trump. Trump's declared bank, dude. He'll be fine. That dude's got money squirreled away, man. All right. Well, that's it for the news cycle, gang. Yeah, let's check on our boy. Let's check on Alex Jones. Let's see what he's going off on. I don't know why I just typed in Alex Jones into Google. I meant to type in Infowars.com. Emergency Tuesday broadcast. Russia withdraws troops from Ukraine. NATO continues to declare full-scale war is imminent. Okay, so NATO is still saying full-scale war is imminent. See, okay.
If you tried to share,
Are we on the same page as Jones? That gives me a chub if true. If we're just coincidentally.
if you talked about the FDA in 2 different rounds and the CDC in another round, making the majority of their board members
skate past that.
Oh no, I'll be full erect if we are on the same page as Alex Jones with the Ukraine situation. Full chub. Like, throbby vein and all. Subscribe, link, Discord link in description.
on so many other.
Can't show that shit on air.
Vitamin D. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. It's so evil. But despite that, the truth's now out. Look at this. ABC News. In reversal, FDA.
Well, 6 different agendas. Sorry, Selena, but let's say there. Okay, no. There's a potential of 4 agendas with the 6 people because we're coin flipping, right? So 3 people don't know each other. 3 people do know each other. They have the same agenda, which is press blockage. Interesting way to censor the press, overloading them with wartime information. If it's a theory we can conceptualize, if you apply game theory, we know that they are probably already using it. So if we can think of a way to cheat, they're probably already using it to cheat. We should cheat. Just saying.
We need, like our triiodine, all 3 types of iodine.
I'm smelling conspiracy by my own set of conspiracy detection rules.
You need for your immune system and your body and your libido.
I smell vitamins.
And everything. When I forget to take it, I feel it. It's so amazing.
Alex Jones. Man. Oh, I gotta grab some tea, guys. We'll be right back. We're gonna catch some InfoWars after this. I love yous.
On the way, just to warn you, if you're smelling vitamins, that might be a stroke, buddy.
Oh, snap. They do kind of smell like burning vitamins. Oh. All right, I said it was a quick break. I was just grabbing tea. All right, Jones, quit selling vitamins. How are you feeling? Let us know what's up, Jones.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
Giving you a full chub for conspiracy. Established in 1998. Alex Jones. I don't think we can jam that. Y'all didn't hear that beat. That didn't happen, I swear to God. If it's a copyright strike and I have to clip it out, I'm going to be so mad. I've done so good today. By that I mean I've not broken only the copyright rule and all of the other ones.
Russia withdraws troops from Ukraine border as NATO continues to declare full-scale war is imminent. Meanwhile, in Canada, Trudeau has declared a national emergency and financial martial law.
Tell us about it, Jones.
And is awakening the world to the threat of the
I think
global
he's on the same page as us.
police state. Also, Alex Jones breaks down exclusive intel on the Durham case and how it shows the deep state has overthrown the U.S. government.
He's even bringing up the Durham case.
So arrogant, they believe they are invincible, like all other tyrants throughout history. But the U.S. background says they will not win in the end, and if history repeats itself, they're going to be going to prison. I just want them to stop their criminal takeover using behavioral psychology and economic warfare.
No, here's my takeaway from this. I've been saying for forever that Special Guest should have his own InfoWars called Head Wound Media, and he could have beaten Jones to this. Just saying, Special. You need the desk, we need somebody that can bend neon to make you a Head Wound Media background, and you need to be Jonesin, because you just specifically said all of these points.
Now,
am I conspiracy Chub right now?
And makes us sick in many cases, and that you want to track us and control us with. No more medical privacy. And his response is to say, I'm calling the military out on you, and we're going to take over your bank accounts and so much more.
Welcome, Justin, by the way. I didn't even hear you pop in here.
Join the right side of history.
Yeah, I've been away from the headphones for a minute anyway, so I wouldn't have heard you if you had.
Trudeau has become Hitler. Trudeau is being Hitler-like in his quotes.
What?
I want a dictatorship. I don't care if you have rights. We're going to go ahead and take them. You're holding unacceptable views.
Jones.
What are we going to do with all these unvaccinated people taking up space?
Jones.
That's what's going on. So here's a short compilation that we just put together this morning. Just a sampling of some of what he said in the past and then his draconian declaration last night. Here it is.
Watch Justin Trudeau endorse dictatorship and declare a national emergency.
Small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following
He brought the zeitgeist edits back.
stepping up to protect each other.
I know he never stopped doing them, but like,
Ensure our freedoms, our rights,
this one's
our values.
particularly like, he feels like he's on it.
Intimidated by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans. So to those responsible for this behavior, it needs to stop.
I have that same scarf and pea coat that Justin Trudeau was wearing.
Because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime.
He said that out loud.
And say we need to go green as fast as we need to start, investing in solar. I mean, there is a flexibility that I know Stephen Harper must dream about of having a dictatorship that he could do everything he wanted. That I find quite interesting. Regardless of the fact that we are
Get him, Jones.
attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that's wrong, we're still going to go ahead and do it.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act to supplement provincial and territorial capacity to address the blockades and occupations.
We are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use.
Oh, man.
These changes cover all forms of transactions, including digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies.
I want to be very clear. The scope of these measures will be time-limited, geographically targeted, as well as reasonable and proportionate to the threats they are meant to address. The Emergencies Act will be used to strengthen and support law enforcement agencies at all levels across the country. This is about keeping Canadians safe, protecting people's jobs, and restoring confidence in our institutions.
As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order.
Justin Trudeau, I mean, I thought he was kind of a cool guy. When I started to read what he said, this is a couple of weeks ago, he was...
Trump's going to hammer on him, dude. I think he's on the same page as us. I'm not really feeling this zeitgeist fear-mongery documentary for Canadians. Mostly because I'm not Canadian. What is this political cartoon? Happy Valentine's Day, America. And that's not chocolate. Hey, those aren't real flowers. Says achievements and policies. There's a bunch of stink coming from the ground. All right. On his podium, it just has Obama's change logo. All right. The Trump-Russia collusion hoax. Oh, he's holding polls, guys. Oh. Media playback was aborted due to a corruption problem. Excuse me? If there's corruption causing issues with the video playback, it's American big deep state collusion.
You can try to take our free speech, take our
Should
guns,
try to
take our children. All you're doing is
take
waking
my
us up
Chub.
and getting us off the fence.
Oh,
They're out
Lord.
there, folks. They've made their decisions. But
Oh,
they're
no.
at war with all of us. I'm going to come back and hit more of this in the huge Russia news, the huge Durham news. I'm doing all 4 hours today. We're going to open the phones up in the second and third hour, take a lot of calls. Separately,
He sounds like me when I'm doing a full 4 hours. I'm doing the full 4 hours today. I'm opening the lines up. I've got the things. I've got some articles. We're doing a whole... I'm here.
ready to ship to you, storable food for good.
All right, we got more Jones ads, but now we gotta listen a little bit further. I feel hooked, you know, because I got a conspiracy chub. I feel like the topic of today, which I guess we'll title the video today, conspiracy boner. I don't know, conspiracy chub. I don't know, and. I don't know. Is this Ukrainian conflict a cover-up? Is it a way to silence the media, control what the media is talking about? Russia retreats and everyone takes a breath and sits back. Yeah. But let me know in the chat how you guys are doing. I'm making sure my text chat box is working on screen. Do you guys think it was a cover-up? Am I just crazy? Do I just have a conspiracy chub? Because I'm feeling it. I think we might have just coincidentally fallen into the same page as Alex Jones, which has happened to special guests and I both in the past. I'm pretty sure over chemtrails. We both just coincidentally, like, did you hear what Jones said about this? He thinks the same thing.
At InfoWars' newest.
He got that emoji shirt. Trying to get some new merch lined up for the merch store. By the way, I guess I could plug my stuff. Discord link in description. Be sure to check out my music on Spotify. Uppercase Merc. Check out my first record, Hyperacusis. Lux really likes Golden Sweets Extended Stay, which is an EP I released on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you can find music. Which, Golden Sweets Extended Stay was supposed to be a whole hip opera. and I just released an EP of instrumental stuff. It actually has the most vocal work on it there's ever been on anything Merc related, but it's different than every other Merc record. But always been one of my like favorite things I've done, and meant a lot to me when I saw some plays go up on it in the algorithm, and then found out it was Lux. Like, who's been jamming my record? Lux is like, I really like this particular record. Like, oh damn, that's my favorite too. Made that one specifically to be my jams. But no sponsors anymore. I'd rather find charities and GoFundMes and stuff to link in the description when I do true crime. So we have a big audience. I'm not going to do BarkBox or Atlas VPN this year. Maybe next year or something. I want to focus on, individual victims' charities. Not to sound like fucking Prince Andrew. I can't believe he said that. I can't believe Prince Andrew. I can't believe that's happening. I mean, he's still going to get exiled to the UK, right? He's already had his military titles and royal titles stripped. He's not the Duke of York anymore, is he? Is this something you hold till you're dead? Or did it revert back to did it go to Charles? I don't know how that works. I saw a video, I think, capping down how it works, like the Duke of York, like who is the Duke of York and who is the Duke of Edinburgh, because you have like it should like or Philip chose one of his sons, but it's going to be Charles until Charles is king, and then he's going to give it to his brother, kind of thing. There's some strain, yeah. Just again, it's an ancient system, primogeniture, and kind of part of your culture, British people. So if it ain't necessarily broke, don't fix it. And if it is broke, you could always just, get rid of the current monarch and move on to the next one. It's worked in the past. Just saying. I'm not advocating for that kind of thing, but I'm just saying. Man, he's hawking this Brain Force. Let's hear a little bit of the Brain Force ad.
This product is more than twice the servings of our Brain Force Plus as well, so you know.
Oh, Brain Force. What do you think it's like to be jacked up on all these vitamins and stuff? Jones and the On It stuff. I know Joe Rogan gave himself liquid shits one time with his own supplements. He's like, I ate too much Alpha Brain. I ate too much of the fungus-based experimental shit we're working on, and I have the liquid shits. It's like, dude, what is your life? Oh, you can't jam that here. Ma'am. But yeah. Oh, he's got spooky stuff up today. Jones is in a whole mood, dude. He's feeling goth today. He's feeling Matrix about it.
We had Trudeau's brother on.
He's feeling Matrix about it.
We should probably get him back on sometime in the next few days because this declaration of martial law and financial martial law is incredible. By the way, when the normal law is
my chat broken? Oh. Media pause due to playback support. The hell?
Half-minute video that Darren
Yeah, come back, please, Jones. Come back to me, Papa Jones.
Like a satanic jack-o'-lantern. We had Trudeau's brother on last week, and we should probably get him back on sometime in the next few days because this declaration of martial law and financial martial law is incredible. By the way, when the normal law is suspended and private corporations are commanded and given federal power, that's one of the most extreme forms of martial law. That is the suspension of the checks and balances.
My chat box isn't working.
And Trudeau has declared martial law. Unbelievable. And I literally have 15, 20 clips. I mean, that are all just them foaming at the mouth and how we're going to send the military in and how we're going to take everything you've got and we're going to expand this now to anybody else protesting around the country. And then I've got other government ministers saying this is good.
Should be
You can't let
better
people
now.
gather and talk. They'll hear information that's not official. That's a quote. And you're like, that sounds like Kim Jong-un. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is textbook BS. And of course, there's all these fools on the left that think they're going to be protected and be part of this. The immoral, out of control, godless left has made its move against humanity, backed by the most ruthless, vicious corporations. Big, ruthless corporations found their minions that would take their 20 pieces of silver. So let me just show you some headlines here. And then later in the next hour, I want to get into Russia. I want to get into the Durham investigation. I got exclusive information on that, by the way. I mean, it just, sometimes I just marvel all the connections we've got. God put us in this place. I get more humble as our influence increases. But I mean,
Excuse me, Jones?
I know more than most U.S. senators.
What?
I'm dialed into basically all the good guys. And it's been because I've been on air 28 years. And I've been trained by the position that God put me in. And all glory goes to God. But it is amazing. And it's very, very daunting. And I don't feel worthy. But I do need to tell the listeners that you financing and your word of mouth and your prayer, you betting on this operation has changed the damn world for the better in a big way. I mean, I'm going to just be point blank with you, and everybody knows this now. It's not something that's exaggerating. Without InfoWars, we'd be in a lot worse shape, and we have turned the tide, at least in the awakening. Doesn't mean we're going to win the war in this phase, but we have turned the tide. This broadcast, all of us together, we have done it.
So hard right now. I think we're on the same page as I don't know if Trudeau's necessarily trying to be a dictator. I don't live there. I don't care about Trudeau. I don't know.
So
Don't
look at
judge
these
me.
headlines. Look at these headlines. Freedom Convoy organizers say they notified police are being told nefarious elements plan to discredit the protest. Exactly. First they declare the civil emergency, then they declare you terrorist, then they make you the terrorist. Here.
Man. Thank you, Jones. Thank you. I needed that. That's wow. He's just always such a mood. He's just a whole ass mood. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Oh. Tell me how you guys are doing in the text chat. Is it still working? Is it open? There we go. Wow, he's desperate. He's going all prosper. Yeah. No, I don't know if you know this, Selena. Alex Jones is evangelical now. He's full, like since the Trump admin, he's been full evangelical, right-wing kind of talking head. I'd like to see him move back toward, I'd like to see him and Rogan move back to like libertarian, moderate kind of territory. I guess Jones has always been extreme no matter where he's at, but I don't like evangelical in a suit Jones. I kind of miss radio. Like I miss him when he was a little closer to coast than what he is now. I love that era of Alex Jones. Like he used to be so chill. He used to be so different. Make this text chat just a bit bigger for everybody. There we go. Turn that booty text chat box off anyway. It lags and leaves troll nonsense up when I don't mean to, so might as well leave a screen cap at the real deal. The grift is too sweet for him. They're making bank. Yeah, straight up, Selena. It really is. The grift goes deep for Jones. Like and he has to. He's independent, so he has to hawk vitamins. He's got to, You guys be sure to cop that Merctus hoodie in the merch store. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to check in with him. I think we found inspiration for the title of the episode, which is episode 2, Conspiracy Chub. Because that's been my big debate today. Is Ukraine a damn media cover-up? Is it an attempt at, how would you word that? Controlling somebody by overwhelming them with information. That's how it feels like that's going. And a logical tactic if all sides involved, or at least even half the sides involved, need a similar goal, which is overwhelm a media party with information. And the West's media is really normally the problem for the world. Like, everywhere else is so censored, it feels like that it's like, well, who are we talking about? American media, British media, anything out of the Anglosphere that's not from like a hella censored nation. I was surprised when I first got in this streaming game how many Europeans can't watch American local news. A lot of what I started doing on the show was basically covering and reacting to local news because Europeans were interested in certain cases that were worldwide cases, but couldn't get the up-to-date information. They had to wait for Good Morning America to talk about it. And so, like, that's why I had a VPN too initially as a sponsor, was, you know, come check out this American press. It's weird your nation won't let you look at it. It's weird, but understandable considering how violent and crazy American press can get. If your nation's not like that, I guess. I don't know. Is that a moral thing to do? Probably not. Again, I'm all for freedom of info. All right, where you at, Jones?
Like lightning, that I've never worn swastika shoes, and it's a total lie. But it doesn't matter. It's how they're superior to you.
What?
It's how they take the grandchildren of World War II vets that almost died fighting Hitler, and they turn you into Hitler while they give awards to people that served Hitler, like George Soros, because they're evil people. And it just goes on and on and on. Tech companies, banks crack down on anti-mandate convoy supporters. Oh, yeah. First, they hack into the sites, leak Give, Send, Go, who the people are that gave. So now the government goes, oh, look, we just have the names and the corporations without any warrants and the banks to take your money. No judge, no jury. They break into your computer.
Oh, yeah. That's the sauce right there. That's the conspiracy sauce right there.
To the banks to engage in more crime. That's a criminal swarm, just like with the Durham case. Names of Canadian truck convoy donors leaked after reporting the hack. You know, when Hitler started firebombing London, the majority of Brits were against war. As soon as they firebombed London, the majority were for war. It's the same thing. You think leaking people's names is going to make them not donate money?
What?
Scum like you. We're not cowardly, bootlicking filth like you. That won't have the effect you want on us. Now I need you to enter.
Sorry, he's jamming some Danzig in the background and we can't play it. But copyright. Copyright fucking strikes. Fucking Danzig. It makes me really happy knowing Danzig, like, Alex Jones is a Alex Jones is a fan of anything top 40 and rock and roll or classic rock because he played on those stations for so long. He's still on those terrestrial stations. I wonder if we can pick him up here in Tucson. Might go get like a little like AM radio and just pick up a Jones broadcast. Is he on for 4 hours somewhere? I mean, he says he's on like over 100 terrestrial radio stations still. So, in theory, surely, where I'm at, has one of those radio stations. Maybe iHeartRadio has it? I don't know. Why do I want to hear Alex Jones on the radio? For the experience. I'm thinking of different ways to exploit this conspiracy chub I'm on, because I think maybe we're all onto something. it did seem like maybe some violence was going to pop off. And I did say at the top of this, if it de-escalates while I'm streaming, I might have a bit of a conspiracy, Chub. So I'm there. I'm there. What's this I've been hearing about Fauci? Apparently Fauci's been horrible for was a horrible person before he was COVID czar. I don't particularly know too much about the guy. I know he doesn't seem like somebody I would vote into a position, so I will say that. And particularly after what I've kind of been hearing about Fauci. It's really unfortunate that somebody with that kind of past is who they chose to have to be the poster boy for getting vaccinated, because I do think there's something to the vaccination. I think it's helping. But that doesn't mean that the person who's the poster boy isn't a Jimmy Savile type character. He could be, I don't know, I don't trust a lot of people up in that organization around Biden, man. I just don't. I think a lot of liberals on the ground like myself want some new blood in there that maybe doesn't have immediate war criminal or conspiratorial ties to anything.
On that, and there are crazy AP articles, Bloomberg articles, you name it, demonizing Zero Hedge for, amongst other things, linking to Paul Joseph Watson, linking to Russian propaganda. So when we report that Russia says they pulled their troops back, we're not allowed to. Just like when Cuomo said on CNN, you're not allowed to read WikiLeaks, only CNN can.
What?
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember how bizarre that was? Remember how crazy that was?
That kind of shit happens here. I kind of ran into some static covering the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. I had to stop covering the Ghislaine Maxwell trial.
Media that tells you we're at war with Russia and the war is imminent. This is so powerful. I'm going to play it one more time. Here's a compilation of Trudeau and all of his tyrannical announcements and behavior. Here it is. We'll be right back with a special guest.
Special guest is going to be on InfoWars. Alex Jones said, "Be right back with special guest." Holy shit. Homie, you didn't tell me you were going to be on InfoWars today, dude. We would have been here doing this way earlier. Rep my boy. Man. Tell me how you guys are doing out there in the text chat, man. Is it still going smooth today? It's deeper in the evening for you UK people. What is it? Sunset, past sunset? Weird to think about, because it feels like it's probably a beautiful day outside today. Seems really nice out. Oh, more tyrannical, potentially tyrannical Trudeau.
So to those responsible for this
Apparently
behavior,
we're supposed to get up into the 70s today.
Good. It's been
February in the Ozarks in the 70s. It's scary.
Yeah, because it means it might snow tomorrow.
No, Thursday.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're gonna have another cold snap. Oof. Oh, AT's in the house. What up, dude? Doing alright? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, AT. Yeah, getting dark for Selena and Whale. Word, dude. Yeah. That's just time zones. Time zones drive me nuts. But stay tuned to the channel this evening. We're going kind of late into the night, but we're going to be doing a Summer Wells True Crime Roundtable. And we got a presentation from Alley Cattails. It's going to be dope. And sad. I'm going to see if I can't find a proper GoFundMe or charity to link in the description, because I don't particularly want to find something that gives money to to Candace or Dawn Wells. Hell yeah. I like chai tea when I've had a little cannabis. Marijuana and chai tea go good together, I think. Not big on hot drinks, though. I like tea a lot, but I do cold tea. Man. Let's check out trending entertainment news. You hear about Quirtle, Justin? Did you hear about Quirtle? There's a new Wordle app.
What about Pokemon?
Right? That's what I thought when Lux told me about it. Did you hear about Quirtle? I'm like, what? Is that a new Pokemon? But no, it's Wordle, the app that took the nation by storm for 2 days. Got bought by what, Microsoft?
The New York Times.
It got bought by the New York Times, but now there's an app called Quirtle. It's different. It's like a different combo of words or whatever. Oh, I didn't think this would happen. MSNBC is actually covering the settle, Prince Andrew settling with Virginia Giuffre. Man, I didn't see that happening.
That lawsuit against Prince Andrew from one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers. What can you tell us?
Right. Well, we can tell you that lawsuit is now settled, according to a filing from David Boies, who's the attorney for Virginia Roberts Giuffre. She was involved in a lawsuit with Prince Andrew. Her allegations included that he had sexually abused her on several occasions back in 2001. They just reached an agreement. It was docketed 26 minutes ago in federal court in Manhattan. They say in part, and I'm reading from the stipulation that'll be entered in 30 days, that Prince Andrew intends to make a substantial donation to Ms. Giuffre's charity in support of victims' rights. Prince Andrew has never intended to malign Ms. Giuffre's character, and he accepts that she has suffered both as an established victim of abuse and as a result of unfair public attacks. There's some other comments as far as victims of sexual abuse. They say the sum of the settlement is not being disclosed, so we don't know the specific number.
To answer Debbie in the chat, Don Wells is back in jail. Indeed, he is in jail.
Here, we do know that this lawsuit, which had become a point of embarrassment for the royal family,
my hair's all crazy.
Is now settled and will be dismissed, assuming all everything and everything goes through within the next 30 days.
Save my scalp a little bit from the headphone rub.
I would say, a very rare request for him to provide information or to sit down with prosecutors for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, which just recently was able to convict Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Epstein's confidant, on 5 of 6 charges against her at a trial that wrapped up before the end of last year. So that is still outstanding. All indications are they would still like to speak to him, but from a civil standpoint, this matter appears to now be resolved.
Ooh. Ooh. Horrible. Yeah. NBC's got, yeah.
Richard, take me to the ground in Ukraine. Is there any evidence Russians are actually pulling back?
Let's hear about the actual visual evidence.
Well, Russia, according to its own media and the Ministry of Defense, is pulling back a small number of troops. The Secretary General of NATO just said a short while ago that he doesn't see any evidence of a real de-escalation. And Ukrainian officials are also saying that Russia moves its troops all the time. Sometimes they go closer to the border, sometimes they pull back, and that it has seen this kind of maneuver before. This is the third time since December that Russia has said that it has done a partial withdrawal of forces. So something does appear to be happening. Russia is certainly going to great lengths to show that it is de-escalating. And actually, when an official in Moscow, Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman for Vladimir Putin, was asked, is this a Russian de-escalation, he flipped the question on his head. He said, no, there was never any Russian escalation to begin with.
We've been carrying out military exercises, and when they finish, the troops will go back to their bases, just like we said they always would. So we're really at a judgment call. Is this the start of Russia opening a possible avenue for dialogue and visibly showing that it is taking the West's concerns and Ukraine's concerns seriously? Or is it just a head fake from Vladimir Putin to keep people guessing what his real intentions are?
There you go, Clint. That's the key question, right? I mean, as Richard points out, something appears to be happening. We can certainly watch the movements, but how do we really tell what's real and what's not? You can't get in the mind of Vladimir Putin.
No.
That's right, Chris. I mean, these are all actions which give Vladimir Putin two options to do what he wants, which I really do believe is to do the invasion of Ukraine, or two, to escape that sort of situation he's put himself in, and also make the West look silly. He's going to try and play it both ways and keep his options open. And he is in a position where he can invade at any moment. And at the same point, he can pull back at any moment and say that the West is hyperventilating, that there was no cause for this. I think what we should be watching in the next couple of days is, while he will make lots of statements, they'll talk about diplomacy, what is really happening with the military forces? Unless there's a sizable withdrawal in terms of these military forces, he's still in a position.
So MSNBC's maybe de-escalation isn't happening, but I'm still conspiracy chubbed.
Where at a moment's notice he could go ahead and launch this invasion. And I think that's important for us to note here is we're watching these videos of tanks getting on railway cars. They could circle right back around and unload, and there may not be a video of those. And that's part of the theater, the atmosphere of information that Russia has created over the last year, where they can actually message both directions at the same time and open up opportunities for themselves. What I can say compared to Crimea in 2014 is the West has handled this much better. If you look at how they have gone out, they've tried to be preemptive in terms of their messaging, in terms of their diplomacy, in terms of outing some of these actions that the Russians are doing. I think that really has slowed down Vladimir Putin to a degree, and he's probably wondering whether this effort is really worth it. Are the costs now too high in terms of this invasion?
Ambassador, this all comes a day after Russians said they're open to more talks. Clearly, they're invested in at least portraying the West as the ones who want war, not them. But give us your insights into the Russian strategy here.
Well, first, I've been impressed with the administration's effort, alongside its 29 NATO allies, to stay solid, to stay coherent as a group, as an alliance, and to present one message to President Putin. So I think the diplomacy here so far deserves credit. Look, it's impossible to say, as you're.
There's the other side of the coin from Alex Jones. So we've heard both sides. I'm still chubbed up. I still think it might be a cover up, man. I won't lie. I just don't necessarily see a world where it's, Ooh, technology news. What you got? Ooh. Mac is releasing new computers already? But the iMac I have is still expensive and shit. It's a shit iMac.
In today's Tech Bites, evidence that Apple could be releasing new Mac computers soon. Online tech reports say Apple has registered 3 new Mac computers with a regulatory body overseas. The news comes ahead of Apple's virtual event next month. Instagram is introducing a new feature. You can now like someone's
I'm just waiting for them to be like, and now we don't even have a power cord jack. You have to buy that separately.
Users to send some.
It comes with the Omni port, a port that is useless unless you get the multi-port, which then lets you plug it in to the wall, to headphones, to HDMI, to whatever you want. Actually, not HDMI. That takes a uni port, and it only lets you do it to HDMI. Then you can't power the thing. Because Mac. Like, we've sold you a puzzle, but not all the pieces.
Love without cramming inboxes and cluttering the interface. Finally, you can now create an emoji-only web address. A company is selling URLs with strings of emojis instead of standard domains in the web address bar. Several music artists are already using them. So, heart-shaped eyes, heartshapedeyes.com.
Yo! You can make URLs that are just emojis now.
What?
Yes. Yes. Which means I have to rush to purchase the URL eggplant squirt squirt. You know? That one. The penis one. Oh.
For your Tech Bites, make sure you have a great day.
What?
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos.
I want it so bad. I won't lie. They're going back to these colored iMacs, and I'm not mad at that at all. At all. Samsung S22 has like 3 cameras on it. What is going on? What's going on here? Why are there 3 cameras?
Welcome back. I'm Rich DeMiro. Time to get tech smart. Samsung is making a big change to its smartphone lineup. It's no longer making
Moto
Note,
has 2 or
but
3.
it's now
I think it's
putting
about
one of
3,
its
but I
best
messed up one of
features,
the
the
stylus
stylus, into its
I've still
top
got one of the
line
older Macs. It's got
S22
2,
Ultra.
but
Last year,
What?
Samsung Note users were surprised.
Oh, you mean the
to hear there
computer
would be
has
a new
3.
version of their favorite.
no. This phone.
The big thing that's happening on this phone is that
The Galaxy
stylus
S22.
is back. The stylus is now stored in the bottom.
But this isn't a Note. It's Samsung's.
It'd be nice if their computers had nice cameras in them.
Stylus used to be a feature.
You'll get a computer with a worse camera than your new phone. Like, it's weird. iMac is weird with that. Like, my iMac camera's garbage. When I shoot with Lux's camera and then check out my iMac's camera, I'm like, damn, what the hell?
Of the Note series, but now if you take a look at this phone, you almost can't tell it apart from a Note.
Now that the two lines are basically merged, users get the best of both worlds. All of Samsung's cutting-edge features in one device.
When you're talking photo and video capability on this phone, you've got 8K video, you've got 100 times zoom, and you also have a 108 megapixel camera.
Samsung says
Damn.
it has greatly improved nighttime
That's
photography
better than half of
and
the movies
video
were shot on
the
in
S22
2000.
Ultra.
Mhm.
We're eager to test.
Or all of them in
An
2000.
ultra-wide lens.
Straight up.
This is your standard lens. This is a 10 times zoom lens. Then you've got laser autofocus over here, and right here you've got a 3 times zoom lens.
Battery life also gets a big boost. The phone
has
now
laser.
lasts over a day on a single charge.
Damn.
Hey, that's me.
S22 comes in 3 sizes.
This is the S22. That's got a 6.1 inch screen.
Oh.
Then you've got the S22 Plus that has a 6.6 inch screen.
I like that, but I
Then
want bigger.
You've got the S22
I want that.
Ultra, which has a 6.8 inch screen.
I like a big phone.
$800 and don't have the stylus or Samsung's top-of-the-line camera setup.
Ooh.
The S22 Ultra starts at $1,200.
Oh,
and comes
no.
in various new colors.
This is a pretty simple color. This is white. This is a forest green color. Here you've got the graphite color.
Ooh.
This is the burgundy color. This is exclusive to the S22 Ultra.
Ooh. I like it.
There you have it. Full review soon. Pre-orders are open for the new phones.
All right, Samsung. I mean, I don't think I'm convinced to hop off the iLife yet. Get employed and probably gonna just keep having living that broke ass phone life. But oh yeah, and they must have heard me talking about Wordle. Here's more Wordle news.
Like $300 is a lot for a phone for me.
Yeah, yeah. See, I don't mind getting into a monthly payment, but I can't do
I got
the.
many of those as it is.
Yeah, like I don't mind if it's like that $30 a month kind of phone plan, like where you get to pay however much extra a month, like $30 extra for a super dope up to date phone. I'm like, all right. I take decent care of phones. By that I mean they're normally disgusting, but I keep them in a life-proof case. So hopefully I can sell it when I'm done with it and pay it off. But that's normally my scheme: is I sell them after I've paid them off. This one I've kept for a while, but should really sell and get something else. World news. What do we got popping off in the world? Yeah, now CNN is reporting that according to NATO, there's no actual proof of Russian de-escalation, but again, let's say we're toying with the conspiracy that they want the press to cover this nonstop. So maybe Russia's moving some troops just to get the press talking again. They did it specifically, I like special guest theory. They did this specifically to kind of information blockade the Prince Andrew story. You know. But that's been the news for me today is Prince Andrew. What? Warning. Graphic content. That's a whole bunch of birds that just dropped dead.
Shows how a flock of birds dropped dead mid-flight in the northern Mexican city of Chihuahua. Police reported that it was close to 100 yellow-headed blackbirds that migrate from northern Canada to Mexico for the winter. Now, a local veterinarian reported to the police that the birds could have died after inhaling toxic fumes from a heater nearby, or because of an overcharge from electricity cables. Nevertheless, authorities still don't know what caused this to happen.
Whoa. That's crazy. Whoa.
New at 6, a couple facing serious charges after their 3 children told police they felt unsafe in their home.
Police say the children told them they were kept under constant surveillance, and that's not all. Shelley Bortz talked with police and the family's neighbors today.
Yeah, let's get right to her live now.
Straight
at
up,
Allegheny
Debbie.
County Jail. And Shelley, what did police actually find there?
That's another reason I like big phones. My eyes. You know, I feel like it. And I'll do music production on my phone. So like, you know, GarageBand on my phone is a kind of a must. I like having a studio in my pocket. If I'm out and about and have a musical idea, I can just kind of pull out my phone, track it really fast, save it, bounce it down to Logic Pro later, and put it on whatever. You know what I mean? Like I've saved a lot of musical ideas because I've had a DAW in my pocket. It's been really vital to me.
Police here tell me if they hadn't seen it with their
my
own
note-
eyes,
my notepad.
they wouldn't have even believed what the children claimed was going on in their home behind closed doors.
I've released an entire record I've recorded on a phone. So y'all don't get to hear that on this channel though, because it was my I probably already played it on a stream, but it's yeah, my project. I use my real name in that, so it's none of y'all business.
Including constant video surveillance and most of the food behind locked doors.
What prompted us was a 911 hang-up call on the morning of January 18th.
That 911 hang-up call led Allegheny Township Police to a familiar address, the home of Leanne and Nevin Lawson here on Indian Hill Road. What investigators found on this domestic call set into motion an investigation that uncovered disturbing claims about what was going on behind closed doors.
It was clear that there was definitely an uncomfortable situation, to say the least, for the children in the home.
Over the course of several days, the children ages 9 to 16 were interviewed separately at their schools. They told investigators very consistent stories of mental and verbal abuse at the hands of their parents.
Whoa.
There were cameras in all the rooms, devices set up to limit access. And I'm not just talking about padlocks or hasps. I'm talking about high-tech locks that you had to know, like secret codes and ways to swipe things in order to gain access to these cabinets.
Chief Fisher says
What?
most of the food was behind those cabinets. Furthermore, he tells me there were secret rooms and passageways throughout the house. He says the basement where the oldest son's bedroom is looks like it's straight out of the movie Silence of the Lambs. The only bathroom the kids could use is in the basement too. And when police interviewed the children at their schools, they found the 9-year-old daughter wearing only a shirt for a dress with no tights, and it was below 20 degrees that day.
This situation, I believe, has been going on for some time.
Neighbor Tom Polchinski tells me he was devastated to hear the news. He says the 2 boys did a lot of yard work for him over the 3 years they lived across the street. He describes them as mannerly and hardworking.
I just hope the kids
Nice
are all
boys.
right,
That's
because we really
horrible.
like the kids. I mean, the little girl, we didn't see that often. Very only getting up on a school bus and that. But the boys, we had a nice bond together.
Right now, the children are not in the custody of their parents. A no-contact order was placed as a condition of the parents' bond.
That was one of the things that was clearly stated by the kids, that they were happy to feel safe.
The Lawsons were released on $25,000 bond, and I'm told both preliminary hearings have been postponed until April 5th. Reporting live in Allegheny Township, Westmoreland County, I'm Shelley Bortz for KDKA News.
Her name is wild. Wow. Oh, whoa.
This is the worst.
Sorry, there's a couple on the 10th that stole $1.5 million from a humane society to pay for an extravagant lifestyle. Okay, that sounds crazy. We're going to check that out. But first, indigestion. Sorry. It's the Hangout. There's no plan. I'm not plugging anything. I've already plugged everything. The merch store, my music. Check it out.
Financial fraud case the sheriff of Hernando County has ever seen. He says this couple stole $1.5 million from the Humane Society to fuel an extravagant lifestyle.
We feel truly blessed, and we feel so lucky to be part of this community.
That's Susanna Arneson talking to Fox 13 back in April of 2020 when she was the director of the Nature Coast Humane Society. At that point, the sheriff says, little did they know she had already stolen $300,000 from the nonprofit, but that's just the beginning.
Heartless, hence the name of the operation.
Douglas Obery and his wife Susanna Arneson were arrested Wednesday during Operation Heartless. The sheriff says Susanna was the mastermind, and during her time as the director from 2018 to last August, detectives say she was able to funnel $1.5 million in donations to her private account. The sheriff says the couple bought a boat, trucks, a Jeep, tickets to travel the world, 2 businesses, and if she looks different in this picture from her 2020 interview, that's because she bought a facelift too.
That's what they meant by, to pay for an extravagant lifestyle. They went full love fraud. They said, you know what we need, baby? Midwestern seafood restaurant. You know what the Midwest doesn't have enough of? Crab. Oh, guys, the series Love Fraud on, what was it, Showtime? What was Love Fraud on? But what was it Showtime? Showtime, yeah, Showtime on Hulu. There's a series called Love Fraud, and it's worth it. It's worth it. Get that. If you got a free trial for Showtime, watch Love Fraud now. It's great. It's a true story. It's unfortunate that it's hilarious, but there's elements of it that are just hilarious. This guy is a prime dime scumbag, but at one point he opens this guy in Love Fraud, his game is he makes someone fall in love with them and then he burns all their money. And he did it to one lady. Not only did she leave her husband for him, they opened like a crab restaurant in where was it, Kansas? They opened a crab restaurant in Kansas. And boy, I've never seen, and everybody they interviewed from Kansas, the way they talked about how bad they wanted a crab restaurant. I mean, it was like Idaho talking about needing strip clubs. It was crazy. It was hilarious. These people were full chub for some crab legs.
It's amazing that they had the guts to do something like this.
You see, many people donate their life savings when they die to an organization that helps animals so there can be big money involved. After she resigned, someone from the board of directors looked at the books and noticed things did not add up.
When we first started to put something together, it was unbelievable. It was hard to what?
I spoke with the board. They say before this,
like this old hippie lady that works at the Humane Society, when we first pieced it together, we were like, the fuck? Why would she do that? Because she wasn't who you thought she was. She was one half of Florida couple.
Arneson was actually known as a good director. They say financially they're doing just fine, and they don't want people to lose confidence in their organization. There are going to be people that are going to say, how did they not know?
Yeah, I think part of the investigation, we can't really go there, but we can explain it. We can show you the steps of how something like this can happen to good people.
The sheriff says as of now, they don't believe anyone else was involved, but they're still investigating.
We have literally just hit the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this particular case.
Detectives, they have seized some of the money and they're still working to recover other assets. Each of them could face up to 90 years in prison if they're convicted. In Hernando County, Dan Maddox, Fox 13 News.
All right, Dan, this is really incredible. The sheriff says the Humane Society may not be honest.
I know I've seen this lady before, but guys, she looks like a lion. She looks like Lou Pearlman in the Beauty and the Beast TV series. This lady's look is fierce.
First victim, he says IRS liens indicate she made a lot of money in 2012 and 2013, and investigators are trying
Ron
to determine
Perlman? I say
whether
Lou
that
Pearlman?
income
I don't
was
know.
legal.
I don't even know. All right.
Telling my story of my life.
This dude apparently confessed murder on a Facebook Live, which I'm gonna get back on Facebook Live at some point. Oh, that's an old ass story. I'm not doing that. I could give a hoot. I could give a hoot. Ooh, is it the Sandy Hook, like, what do you say? Anniversary? Ugh. Ooh. Check out Science News. Okay, look, I want to hear how Elon Musk burned some money sending it to the moon. Let's.
Good morning. In other news, hey, we know something is absolutely going to crash into the moon on March 4th.
Say word? Really? We know something's going to crash into the moon March 4th.
But what exactly is it?
I thought it was SpaceX satellites or rockets.
Okay, so in February, get this, an amateur astronomer suggested that a rogue object was a spent SpaceX rocket launch that went up in 2015. Well, that same astronomer, he went over some more data. Okay, well, it turns out that that same object likely belongs to now a Chinese moon mission that launched in 2014. So astronomers have been following this thing now for years. Before they thought it was a SpaceX rocket, they thought it was a near-Earth asteroid.
What?
Yeah, so okay, let's do a short recap, because that was a lot, to be honest with you. An object first thought to be an asteroid, then a SpaceX rocket. Now a Chinese rocket will hit the moon March 4th. That's what we got. All right, so as for the impact, okay, y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
It will take place on the far side of the moon where we can't see it.
That's so lame.
Okay, so that impact will have no...
I have the exact reaction of that as that weatherman. That is a bummer. I really wished it would be on the right front side of the moon so we could see that sucker happen. Damn.
No threat to the moon. They actually said that bigger things have hit the moon before. So
Sure.
It's
So it's okay. So no moon panic. The moon will rise again.
Of course they have. Yeah. I mean, that's where all those craters are. When you look up and you see the big, the hole in the cheese.
Yeah.
All right. There's big things hitting the moon.
Yep.
Cause
Always
a big
hit the
splash.
moon. Yep. But we won't be able to see any splash. That'd be kind of cool, but I'd be kind of concerned though a little bit.
There was something that hit.
No, I want to see it. It's like fireworks, but more dope. Might have to get a telescope or so. It'd be cool if it happened on a full moon. And we could just see it. Oh, it'd be cool.
The moon. I'll have to look this up. No.
Yeah.
But you know, something hit the moon a little while ago, and you could see a little poof.
Oh, wow.
Something cool about the moon this morning, actually, when I got to the station, the high clouds are streaming in Jabari. Ice crystals up in the high clouds making this really cool halo. Look at this picture here.
You guys seen that the halos? When, like, ice crystals in the atmosphere make the halo around the sun. That's so cool. Our planet does cool stuff. I think it's cool that blue-eyed people, their eyes are blue for the same reason the sky is blue. Because blue eyes are in fact the absence of melanin in your eye. So like, It's an atmospheric reaction kind of thing. Yeah, it's cool as hell to me.
The ring.
Really cool. Yeah.
I am amber-eyed.
Blue jays are the blue for the same reason. If you actually look at their feathers right, they're almost translucent.
That's crazy. For real? Whoa. Dude, blue stuff is fascinating. I see why it's like an important thing in like Indian cultures. You know.
It's one of the rarest colors as far as the main colors go.
Yeah. Man. All blue-eyed people you can genetically trace all blue-eyed people to one common ancestor in the Mediterranean. And
one Mediterranean farmer.
Yeah. That's interesting as hell to me too. Like, what an interesting mutation to have taken place. That's just a beautiful planet.
Yeah, that the ring around the moon this morning, that high cloud cover producing a really
ring around the
pretty
moon,
halo. I took
excuse
this
me.
right out in the parking lot here at 10 Tampa Bay. If you look outside, soon enough we'll see more cloud cover, so we may not be able to see this halo, but you should be able to see it as well. It's all produced from those high clouds and the ice crystals within those clouds. So that moonlight, as it passes through the ice crystals in that high cirrus cloud cover, it will be refracted. So all the ice crystals have to be aligned perfectly to be able to catch that light and refract it into that halo shape. It's very similar to when you see a sun halo with the same high cloud cover. It's just that moon is bright enough this morning because it's almost full. We'll see a full moon tomorrow morning, but this morning we're getting that cool view of the moon halo.
Word. Well, thank you, Science News. Oh, there we have some new SpaceX missions happening.
Jared, great to have you back on the show. You're going back to space. How did this manifest? Who's paying for it?
It better not be us.
Yeah, Morgan, thanks for having me back. So the collaboration with SpaceX on the Polaris program really began just prior to the launch of Inspiration 4. And then after we came back, we were able to sit down and talk about what are the important building blocks in order to get to Starship, which will be the vehicle that'll take humans back to the moon and ultimately to Mars. Once we had all those worked out, and I felt really comfortable that it could make a really positive impact on the world, as well as what we're looking to accomplish in space, I signed up for it. And I'm really thrilled to be partnered again with SpaceX and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, as we move boldly forward.
Yeah, and now you're contributing money to this process. So is SpaceX. What do you plan to accomplish in space?
Complete conquest of the moon. I'm going to conquer space, ma'am.
Yeah, I think we have a number of really ambitious objectives. So the idea with the Polaris program is to undertake a series of missions that, again, will ultimately culminate in the first flight of Starship. So there's a lot to learn before we get to that point. This first mission, Polaris Dawn, is going to fly higher and deeper into space than we've gone since the last lunar mission. It'll be the highest Earth orbit ever flown, which is going to...
Look, it takes a long time for capitalist infrastructures to get to space, it would appear. Chief and I, we are conquering the world in Hearts of Iron with the express reason of getting to space quicker in an alternate timeline. Like, we're going to conquer the world so we can unify it and get to space as quick as we can. In video games, it's just fascinating that, we're kind of watching the birth of a capitalist infrastructure getting people into space.
Inform a lot of important research on radiation exposure for long duration spaceflight and things that are useful that we can take back here to Earth as well. We're going to do a spacewalk because if we can get to the moon and Mars, you're going to want to be able to get outside and get work done. And we're going to communicate over Starlink laser-based communication, which is very important. And it has obviously real practical use here on Earth to connect disconnected communities all over the world.
Starlink.
You're going to be doing this first mission with 3 crewmates, including 2 SpaceX employees. Can we say that this really marks the beginning of a SpaceX astronaut corps and a tipping point in general in terms of private spaceflight?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, first, you're basically talking about, you know, the first privately funded space program, which I think is pretty cool. And on top of that, you have the first two SpaceX astronauts in Sarah Gillis and Anna Menon, who are unbelievable engineers, very talented, and they're going to be incredibly important to everything we look to accomplish with the missions. And they're the first two of what I'm sure will be many over the years ahead.
I mean, it's pretty incredible. We had this conversation last year ahead of Inspiration 4 as well, but how do you balance this with all of the training, with all the preparation versus your day job at Shift 4?
Yeah, well, I balanced it really well last year with Inspiration 4. You know, I love Shift 4. This is what I've been doing since I started the company when I was 16. This is my whole professional career. So we've got big ambitions this year. We're going global. Really excited about the opportunities ahead. I'm not taking my eye off the ball on that. But that said, I'm also really passionate about two other organizations that I've grown close to. One of them is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and the other is SpaceX. So, you know, thrilled to play a part in it, but still a lot of important things to, you know, focus on at Shift 4.
Yeah, and of course, as you're speaking, we're seeing shares of Shift 4 continue to move higher. They're now up about 4.5%. I know one of the other things you've told me in the past is that your space flight work has actually increased awareness, even potentially business for Shift 4 too. Is that an expectation here?
I mean, we're an integrated payments company. We power over 200 billion a year in payment volume. You know, a good portion of transactions here in the United States, and we're bringing our capabilities all over the world. We're obviously growing because we're solving problems for our customers. I certainly didn't expect when we went into Inspiration 4 that, you know, SpaceX or St. Jude would ultimately become customers. They have. You know, that's kind of an unintended benefit from just the good work we're trying to, you know, do as part of these programs.
Hmm.
Five months after becoming the first all-civilian commercial astronauts on a multi-day orbit around the Earth.
Welcome everybody to Crew Dragon Resilience.
Jared Isaacman, the billionaire who paid for that trip and helped raise a massive $240 million for St. Jude Children's Hospital.
That's dope that he did that. That's a lot of money to raise. Oh, snap, Biden's live.
And I said, if you found a cure,
Biden's alive.
Biden's alive.
particular cancer,
Biden just lifts up out of bed. No!
what amount of money do you think you should be able to charge for that?
Get my gun, corn pop.
And I said, well, you know,
Time to govern.
this is like Germany. You can get and make sure you
What was that I said earlier about George McGovern? Like, no, you said it's time to govern.
more than the total investment.
Oh, yeah.
But once
Shake it, don't break it, corn pop.
that's the only price you can pay to sell that drug, you still make 30-40% profit.
It is such a quiet cast. I can't turn this up any louder. This dude is like whispering. This is embarrassing. Are there there's captions.
Additional work on the drug.
Oh, Biden. Dude, someone pull the mics close mic him. Pin a mic to him. Markiplier can do it, but the president of the United States can't get mic'd proper? Are you fucking kidding me?
What you can afford to pay.
Lord.
Congress acts, we could take care of things with a stroke of a pen tomorrow.
We could take care of that. Yeah, that's how. Yeah, but you're not all on the same page, bro. It's part of governance.
Trying to take care of your children won't take care of your aging mom or dad. We can help make it work. Care for elderly parents and have someone install a handrail in the shower. Make sure they have.
Oh my gosh, we're talking about boomers. He's gonna give aid to boomers before anyone gets a stimulus check.
And allow them to continue to live in the dignity.
Mark my words. He's talking about installing handrails in showers and shit.
Because the cost of
He's talking about taking care of elderly parents.
Medicare now, except 880,000 people.
Bro, they already get 3 checks from you. Dude, are you kidding me? How about the workforce? The people who fucking work? About the people pushing the plow and the infrastructure, dude? Oh my god.
We can do that.
Yeah.
And still save money. So when they put their heads in the pillow at night, they can have peace of mind.
Debbie has.
I'm going to work like the devil to bring gas.
Oh, hell no.
We're going to keep working to strengthen the supply chain to bring the.
Oh, he won't get reelected. No, hell no. No, he's high disapproval rating. I don't know. Both parties are kind of in the dumps. Again, I'm holding out that a new party arises and gets some actual attention. And if it doesn't go that way this time, at least something. I'm not asking for them to win. I'm asking for them to show up and happen. Just a new party, a genuine, legitimate, taken seriously by the mainstream media third option.
But by passing the elements of the Build Back Better plan, which reduce the burden on families.
After watching how the mainstream media and even debates that Yang went to, the way they treated Andrew Yang was so disgusting. Like, we need a legitimate third option in this nation. This motherfucker, we can't even mic this dude proper.
The fact is, we can't do it without you.
I need a drink. I'm gonna start.
You understand the cost.
Fucking Sleepy Joe.
We have voices and county officials helping us folks understand what our communities need. If we can get this done, there's no limit to what America can achieve. So let's get working people a better chance than they've had, the quality they deserve, by investing in the future of every county. Let's face these challenges head on. Well, let's keep building back better. We're the only country.
You talking about some build back better? Nah, man, you guys got to check out my streams. Let's Conquer the World with Iro if you want to see how to build back better, dude. Watch me build Mexico's infrastructure while Chief deals with the Great Depression, post the Great Depression.
To tell me they wanted to see the Build Back Better plan put in place, even though they knew they were going to pay higher taxes. Corporate taxes would go up to 24%.
I'm excited to play some more Hearts of Iron 4 with Chief.
It's so strong it keeps closing the door.
Made over $40 billion, didn't pay a single penny.
Damn. It's a win. It's a windy day. Yeah, we got to go on a walk.
I think you should be able to go out and make $1 million or $1 billion if you have the capability. But just pay a little bit. Pay your fair share.
Dude.
I'm serious.
We pay our taxes, dude.
And that's why we're getting
How about you give me a stimulus check?
For the things we're doing. That's why, for example, and it's major corporations coming to us. For example, you ride through some fields in Ohio, and it looks like there's nothing there except beautiful land stretched out. Well, guess what? An outfit called Intel came to me and said, we want to invest $20 billion in those fields, creating 7,600 jobs to build a facility and 3,500 jobs permanent.
He's I can barely hear. You get so close. It's like, what was that?
They're going to make computer chips. Because our automobile industry, 1/3 of inflation is
and computer chips are delicious.
Going up. Why are they going up? We invented the computer chip, but we don't make it. We have to get it from everyone from Taiwan to China to other places.
Yeah.
Look, we can do this.
At some point, can we maybe screw one of these lights
by reasserting who in God's name we are.
Yeah.
Is that okay? The United States of America. There's nothing, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. There's nothing.
I've been meaning to put a desk lamp over there or something.
Yeah,
we do it together. That's always been who we are.
Yeah.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
States of America.
I don't know why I think it may be like the seasons changing, but it feels darker.
Yeah, it is. You can turn that into light. Just regular lamp.
You go through a neighboring state of New Jersey and Delaware, my area down by the shore. You ride through an intersection with a big circle and 4 or 5 roads coming off of it. And usually in the middle of that circle, there's you can plant trees and flowers and the like. I can tell you the communities.
Be sure to smash that like button. Smash it. Smash the like button.
As renters or owners.
Smash it. Hit that like button. Do it. Do it now. Do it for me. Do it for that bong hit. Do it for Lux.
When they're renters, they're not. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with renting.
She wants you to hit the like button too.
Engaging in the community.
It's a thumbs up. Smash it.
Look, folks, when middle-class folks do well, there's never been a time the wealthy don't do very, very well.
This puppeteer has to be exhausted. All right, moving on.
Is going back. Paying.
Great to have you back on the show.
Moving on, we were looking at space. What do we have going on? Polaris Dawn earliest launch target announced. That's cool. That's what we just watched the story on, and yeah. Oh, this is from 14 hours ago, live. Russian cargo craft on ISS mission launches from Kazakhstan. Huh.
Coverage this evening of the launch of the Russian Progress 80 cargo spacecraft, set to lift off at 10:25 and 39 seconds p.m. Central Time.
What would happen if we start a war with people we share international space station space with? Don't we still have people up there with the Russians and like Chinese and stuff? Like, wouldn't they get real? Are they just gonna knife fight in space? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen to the ISS if we all go to war with each other? We can't do that. That can't happen. Oh, that would be horrible. It'd be catastrophic. Lordy, lordy. Let's see if we can't see this this Chode rocket launch. Kind of looks like a Chode. Yeah. I want to see this sucker. I want to see what Russian.
T-minus 20 seconds.
What these Russians got? What do you send cargo with, Russians?
The auto sequence has been initiated.
It's interesting how sometimes like we have similar design language to the Russians, but their flair is just the way we choose
The second
to
umbilical tower is now separating.
use color and iconography.
And liftoff. Liftoff of Progress 80, the next vehicle in the supply chain to the International Space Station.
Man. Amazing.
First stage performance reported to be nominal.
Hell yeah.
Good vehicle stabilization reported.
Just launching that thing the old way too. I like these kind of rifled spinning SpaceX rockets. Those are cool as hell. At some point it's gonna break into a second
Good
phase,
chamber
right?
pressure reported on the first stage.
It's gonna be wild. Going to be wild.
One minute and 17 seconds into flight, and everything is reported to be going by the book.
There's a star man waiting to copyright strike.
Good structural parameters reported from the launch engineers in Baikonur.
He'd really like to copy, but he'd right strike all our minds. There's
1
a
minute and 40
star
seconds into
man.
the flight, and everything is reported to be going well. Standing by now for first stage separation.
Ooh, I just want to see this and then we'll bounce. I want to see that bottom half bust off. That looks CG. It is CG. Okay, so they're just showing it.
First stage separation is confirmed.
It went down.
The 4 strap-on boosters have completed their job and dropped away at 29 miles in altitude. That second stage engine is up and burning. This will be about a 2 minute and 39 second stage performance.
2 minute performance.
And flight controllers are reporting everything operating.
It's not very long, Russians. Tell me you can't perform for more than 2. I don't know. It's a dig at the Russians, guys. I'm American. It's like I have to.
Want to take a look up at the night sky because some of the planets are reaching peak brightness.
That's right.
Oh yeah, 12 days ago, a bunch of planets were visible. And that's cool. That's cool. Oh goodness, Remington reaches a settlement agreement. What is this?
All right, we are following breaking news.
Trigger warning, we're going to talk about triggers and guns probably. Special guest, where you at? There's some gun stuff going down. Gunmaker Remington reaches settlement agreement with families of Sandy Hook victims is what's going on. So trigger warning, we're going into Sandy Hook again just to reiterate. Sandy Hook happened. I'm not a Sandy Hook hoaxer. All the respect in the world to the families of the victims, and I hope I never have to deal with that kind of violence reaching a school my child goes to.
News this hour. Remington, the gun manufacturer, has reached a settlement.
Are you serious, Special? Remington got bought and sold because of this case? Whoa, so they were looking for a settlement. All right.
Want to get right to this with NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda. Emily, thanks for joining us on this. This is huge. Obviously, we all remember what happened in Sandy Hook, one of the most tragic mass shootings
exactly Special
this country has ever seen, especially involving such young children. These families changed forever. Their lives changed forever. Talk us through what we know this hour.
Hey, Yasmin. So this is the settlement agreement between the victims of the families of 9 victims and Remington.
Exactly,
who was
Special.
the gun manufacturer of the rifle that was utilized in that horrific 2012 massacre. And you can see really just a few sentences, not many details included in the court documents we have our hands on right now. But the Associated Press reporting that Remington will be paying $73 million to the victims' families. For context, they did, submit an offer last summer. This is more than double that initial offer. Last year, it was closer to $33 million. So certainly upped it significantly. At the core of this lawsuit is really how Remington marketed its rifle, the rifle that was used in, again, that deadly 2012 massacre. The families arguing that they highlighted the military and assault capabilities of the gun, continuing, adding they purposefully appealed to the kinds of people who are the most likely to commit mass murder. This lawsuit is on behalf of 5 adult victims and 4 children victims. And again, this news conference providing more details is playing out as we speak. So we'll be able to have more details later. Yasmin?
A major settlement, still not making up, of course, though, for the lives lost and the families that have been changed forever because of it. Talk me through, though, how major this is and also what it could mean for future lawsuits.
Yeah, I think something to keep in mind initially, a lot of experts had said this lawsuit is a long shot because of longstanding federal law developed and established in the early 2000s that largely have protected most gun manufacturers from wrongful death lawsuits. Well, now the outcome of this, the fact that this lawsuit really took a different approach by attacking the marketing strategy of Remington, opens the doors possibly for more victims of gun violence to sue gun manufacturers. Yasmin?
All right, Emily Ikeda for us. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
I don't have Discord Nitro.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
All right, so Remington. All right. Remington settles with families of Sandy Hook victims. That's happened. Coupled with the music culture that is still absolutely glorifies cars and guns. Yeah. Man. Fearless Canadian trucker has a message for Trudeau. This is from Fox Business, so this is probably going to get real.
In Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has invoked emergency powers, which give the government the power to freeze the private bank accounts of the truckers involved in the Freedom Convoy. James Dool is one of those drivers. He's taking part in the protest, and he joins me now. James, all right, how do you feel about how
I don't
your
think it's
bank
necessarily
account possibly frozen? Would that make you leave the protest?
Absolutely not. I'm not one bit intimidated by his course of action that he pursued last night. Just another scare tactic on my beliefs, just something to get us scared, force us out of here as he's been trying to. I really don't see it making any difference for most of us here.
There are reports that you don't have the support of the majority of Canada's population. What's your response to that?
I think the majority of Canada is standing here alongside of us. And even if they're not here in Ottawa, they're back home supporting us. So you can call it a fringe minority, but I truly believe it's the majority of Canada that speaks for this.
What's at the heart of your protest? Is it the vax mandate, or is there something else involved here?
Definitely vaccine mandates were something on the top of the list when we came into this. It's definitely something greater than that. It's freedom of choice, freedom of rights. It's just everything that has been taken away from us over the past years. Definitely freedom being the top one.
Okay. James, this has just come to me. We're just getting this news. You may not know this, but according to the CBC, Canadian Broadcasters, a reporter there, he says the Ottawa police chief has resigned and will make a public announcement later today. I don't know whether you're aware of this or not, but what's your response? The police chief just resigned.
The police chief just resigned. I'd say that he's a coward and he's backing down now as well. He knows what he did was wrong. Everybody's going to start jumping fence and realizing of how unlawful they have been towards us and all the crazy things that they're trying to do.
But maybe the police chief was...
I didn't see the Freedom Convoy special. I didn't see that speech.
But it's possible that he supported you and your protest. We're told that some police officers did support your protest and that he's resigning because he doesn't like these emergency powers. It could work that way around.
Absolutely. He definitely could be in our favor, but it's hard to say as he went against us for the past 2 weeks trying to shove us out. But that also falls under the authority of control. He was definitely controlled by his head officers or his head commanders to do what he was told. So it's hard to say. He could be joining us now, and it could fall into our favor.
Understood. Okay, look, James Dole, look, thanks very much for coming on the show and reacting to this late-breaking news. We do appreciate
Doug Ford.
I wanted to ask about the proof of vaccination certificates as well. It seems like a lot of businesses are kind of caught in a weird dilemma because you've given them the ability to continue on with the proof of vaccination certificates if they choose to. So for a business owner, if they remove the proof of vaccination, they may lose business because people might feel unsure, uncertain about dining in a restaurant with unvaccinated people. However, though, they may also face targeted harassment if they keep up with the proof of vaccination. What's your suggestion for what a business owner in that situation should do?
I think the market's
word
going to
special.
dictate. You can go to Costco, you can go to
Oh,
Walmart,
yeah.
you can go shopping. You don't know if the person has a shot beside you or not, but we also know that it doesn't matter if you have 1 shot or 10 shots, you can catch COVID. See, the Prime Minister has triple shots, and I know hundreds of people with 3 shots that caught COVID.
Yeah.
We just have to be careful. We've got to always make sure we wash our hands and move forward. But, Colin, we can't stay in this position forever. We got to learn to live with this and get on with our lives. I bet if I asked every single person in this room,
Right,
do you want
special.
these masks or do you want them off? They want them off.
Feel like I'm watching one of the Farley brothers, one of the Chris Farley brothers. Not one of the Fairley brothers, one of the Chris Farley's brothers.
They want to get back to normal. They want to be able to go for dinner with their families. And there's every single person, including myself, knows people that are unvaccinated. Sure, there's the rebel rousers, and then there's just
Rebel
hardworking
rousers?
people that just don't believe in it. And that's their choice. This is about, again, a democracy and freedoms,
It's a
liberties. And I hate as a government telling anyone what to do. We just got to get moving forward and get out of this and protect the jobs. I think a lot of people, Colin, probably yourself too, everyone's done with us. Like, we are done with it. Let's start moving on and cautiously. And, we've followed the rules, all of us, like 90% of us. For over 2 years. The world's done with it.
All right, yeah, we're getting some
Hello,
Canadian
everyone.
politicians
I'm going to give a
responding.
brief statement and then happy to take any questions that you might have.
All right.
If you'd like the questions answered in French, my colleague and Deputy Leader Luc Berthold will answer those questions. Conservatives want to
Oh,
see
yeah,
an end to
special.
the
No,
blockades.
we
want to
yeah,
see them
hell no.
ended peacefully
It probably
and
won't.
quickly. In a way that Canadians feel that they've been listened to, heard, and respected by their Prime Minister. We are concerned that the actions of the
Oh,
Prime
really?
Minister
Special.
will
Crazy.
not have that effect, and in fact,
They're going
will have the
extremist in
opposite
America. Yeah,
effect.
it's Americans,
Today,
though.
the Prime Minister announced that he will be invoking the Emergencies Act. We have to take a look at what he's proposing and the rationale, and Conservatives will discuss it and make a determination in terms of whether we will support it or not. At first blush,
Doesn't
we
seem
are
like a good
very
plan.
concerned with what we see. First and foremost, if you look across the country, provinces are not in agreement with what the Prime Minister is proposing. He has said he has consulted, but there really is not collaboration or agreement. Alberta is opposed to it, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Quebec. He's not off to a good start on that. Secondly, we have seen the Prime Minister continually wedge, divide, and stigmatize Canadians who he doesn't agree with. And by doing so, he creates so many barriers in terms of trying to solve this problem. The Prime Minister had an opportunity to talk and to listen to people
She does.
who he disagreed
Bergen.
with, and he refused to do so.
Candace Bergen.
And so this looks like a ham-fisted approach that, as I said, will have the opposite effect. Conservatives
Seems like a
today
bad plan.
offered a reasonable solution that would at least bring down the temperature. We asked the House of Commons to vote on our motion, which asked the government to provide a plan in terms of ending the lockdown. So we wanted just the plan in place by the end of this month. Not unreasonable, not an extreme ask, considering provinces are doing it and other jurisdictions are doing it as well. So there is concern with the Prime Minister's typical way of dealing with people he disagrees with, and this measure does not alleviate those concerns that we have. But again, we're going to take a look at the legislation, we're going to take a look at the rationale and make our decision.
Damn.
Conservatives want the barricades to come down. We want this to end quickly and peacefully, but in a way that Canadians feel that they have been listened to and that their Prime Minister respects them.
Very rational approach this lady's taken. I like it. I like it a lot. You know. Candace Bergen, yeah. I mean, this is very rational. It's from 13 hours ago from Fox News. This was never about the virus. Let's see what she's
Laura
going to
Ingram, this is Ingram Angle from Washington tonight. We have
All right. I'm going to be hella disappointed if I've heard any of these talking points from this lady or any of my homies.
a lot to get to, so let's dive right in. Speaking of freedom matters, the freedom problem. That's the focus of tonight's angle.
The dangle. Sorry. Can we have a segment? It's like the angle, but it's called the dangle. The angle of our dangle.
Now, back in May of 2020, just a few months
If we're in
into the
full
pandemic,
conspiracy,
the UN
Chub.
High Commissioner of Human Rights delivered what was actually a surprising warning.
When we restrict certain human rights,
I know, not Laura Ingram. I know, we're going there. We're checking out her, not just Laura Ingram, her deep cut segment, The Angle.
because of a need like a natural cause or a pandemic like this one, it has to be, first of all, it has to be a clear need. It has to be proportionate to the need, and it has to have a time bound. It cannot be forever. We have seen that some
It's John Kerry's daughter, dude.
governments are using it to.
John Kerry faced off with what's her name? Oh shit. She wrote the book on Trump.
Shrink, to make even more shrink the civic space and the possibility of civil society to express.
John
and
Kerry's
that is
sister.
unacceptable.
How prescient she was. 2 years later, with freedom convoys inspiring millions around the world, officials who thought they would never be held accountable are growing more desperate.
Seems like she's about to bite her tongue.
The Emergencies Act will be used to strengthen and support law enforcement agencies at all levels across the country. This is about keeping Canadians safe. These tools include strengthening their ability to impose fines or imprisonment. Financial institutions will be authorized or directed to render essential services to.
So many pundits go for Cobra Hood hair. Dude, you see it on Fox News hella hard. I know since Rachel Maddow went with the full Rachel Maddow look, a lot of people go with the chopsy change up, but like on the Fox News world, dude, you will see the full bouffant.
help address this.
I think it's a bit of a dog whistle to Karen culture. Like, hey, I'm a Karen. Toot toot.
Situation by regulating and
I'm going to ask you if you have a receipt for that. Toot toot.
prohibiting the use of property to fund or support illegal
I'm not racist, but like, do you know somebody here? Toot toot. You know, like she's one of those. It's like what that hair says to me a little bit. I'm just saying.
What would such a soft, pretty man ever know about keeping anyone safe?
Do you have a list of your red wines? Toot toot.
Not much.
Dog whistle.
Weak and ineffective leaders don't change
This might be a
course
Karen.
even when COVID recedes, because I've said for almost 2 years now, this was never about the virus. It was about creating a compliant public.
That's a conspiracy right now, special guest, that Trudeau is Castro's son, because I like that. I like that a lot. I can see it. I can see it. You know, Trudeau in certain angles kind of has that Pedro Pascal vibe. Kind of has that look about him. Yeah, they look a lot alike. And you know I love that kind of stuff. Like, is so-and-so a bastard child of so-and-so? Ooh, I love those conspiracies. Because, you know, there's really one way to get to the bottom of it, and it's a global episode of Maury. And we got to find out who that daddy is, man. Give us your... And then nobody would believe it, you know? It'd be like, nah, that's CG, dude. Like, it's CG. But, yeah. If you from the same angle, they look astoundingly. Even from this angle right here, he looks like kind of a young, no-beard Castro, dude. No, I feel you. Like I said, he kind of looks like Pedro Pascal or something, who also looks like he could be a revolutionary in a Latin nation. So, I feel you there, dude. I like that
Public
conspiracy.
that was kind of primed to obey the next lockdown order.
He did. Alex Jones did show an out of context clip of him saying some stuff like he's down for dictatorships because you can technologically progress a little faster into like the green way. The way of the green into Swamp Thing culture. So, like, you know, funny thing, his parents visited Cuba during the time right before she got pregnant. That'd be funny. That'd be so funny if they're part of some Castro cult and they smuggled away some kind of Castro bastard. That'd be crazy. And he became the fucking prime minister of Canada. That's crazy. That'd be intense, dude. That's an intense level of follow. That's like a plan that you can't even guarantee would even remotely get close to working. And if it worked out, it's like no one would believe that was a plan.
There are no questions asked. The assaults on our basic liberties have been wide-ranging. School closures denied children quality education. That was the freedom to learn. Vax and mask mandates deprived us of our freedom to decide what we put into our own bodies. Stay-at-home orders destroyed small businesses while large corporations thrived. That was our freedom to work. Then big tech censorship.
What's causing big corporations to thrive right now is their ability to pay people nothing because there's like a hiring crisis. So like you don't see the hire-on bonuses like you used to. There's things like the wage per hour, they're just dropping it as low as they possibly can to fill positions with expendable people, and that's how the corporations are thriving through all that. Like that, it's their practices, not necessarily like that. I don't know.
Where YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they acted as proxy speech police for the government, our freedom of expression. Anyone who didn't toe the Fauci line, even treating physicians and renowned research.
Well, you're talking about private companies didn't allow the vaccine bullshit, anti-vax bullshit on their platforms, and I mean, welcome to social media, lady. That's not them policing free speech. That's a company being a company. If you don't like it, go outside and yell about it. Go outside and yell about it and deal with the people who want to fight back in person. If you actually believe what you're saying, you know. It's the thing about the anonymity of the internet and stuff is it's typically hosted by somebody. So, you know. Read the room. It's one of those, you know.
They were suspended, maligned, and even banned.
Oh, really, special guest? That's crazy about Trudeau's dad in the text chat, guys. Yeah, totally. See, so he could have been. He's totally a candidate to have been in some strange communist cult that wanted to smuggle a Cuban baby up into Canada, a bastard child of Castro, just in case something falls apart. Maybe, I don't know. What's the benefit of having a Castro bastard? I guess it makes you awfully important with some information you got. But boy, would it be hard to fucking raise that kid and not get sniped.
And completely. Some lost their jobs. Calling something COVID misinformation gave the government carte blanche through their proxies to trample on free expression. Now, who will ever forget how Democrat governors let you shop together?
Straight up special. That makes sense. It's like a Leninist, like a like a Stalinist, like a Lenin. Yeah, okay. Like a proper communist cult. Got you. But around Castro, people like we talked about Angel Castillo, I believe, and then we've talked about Lee Harvey Oswald. I mean, it might have been people who were part of some kind of communist cult faction that centered around Castro being kind of this figure that needs to carry on this Stalin, Lenin, Marx-esque figure.
Churches shuttered, our freedom to worship halted. The experts never thought that faith was essential, but somehow they deemed that liquor stores were. So this anti-freedom coalition on the left even deployed intimidation squads in corporate and school settings with the goal of silencing employees and parents who spoke out.
I don't know, they call them intimidation squads.
Now take this fact.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like she blew some air into that a little bit.
Fascinating case of Jennifer Say. She was an Elizabeth Warren supporter from the Bay Area who was forced out of her high-profile job merely for speaking out against school closures and lockdowns. Now, Ms. Say, then president of Levi Strauss, felt passionately about the need for in-person schooling. She wrote, I kept calling out hypocritical and unproven policies. I met with the mayor's office and eventually uprooted my entire life in California so that my kindergartner could finally experience real school.
Damn.
Well, back in March 2021, Jennifer appeared on The Angle.
Whether there's politics involved or not, I got to take care of my kid. And I want to help all kids because I realize I'm very lucky that I can pick up and come here. And I know not everyone has that opportunity, but I will tell you, families I know are scraping together everything they have to either go to private or move to a district or a state that's open, because at the end of the day, our kids need to be in school.
Yeah.
Now, she's a liberal. I'm a conservative. Her comments were entirely reasonable. But then she writes, that appearance on this show was the last straw. The head of diversity, equity, and inclusion at the company asked that I do an apology tour. I was told that the main complaint against me was that I was not a friend of the black community at Levi's. I was told to say that I am an imperfect ally.
Whoa.
Well, then she said she refused to do any of that.
Huh.
Now, this woman was on track to be the CEO of a major company, a liberal with biracial children, canceled by the corporate mob. Think about that. So the left is so freaked out now because their COVID fortress of rules and edicts is collapsing before they had the chance, of course, to make their new normal.
I love it when people attach current racist issues or cancel culture to COVID.
Permanent. They're so frantic that they're trying to stigmatize the word freedom. In other words, your freedom kills people even when they're vaccinated.
I love how people talk about personal freedom. If you're exercising personal freedom puts someone else in jeopardy, their health in jeopardy.
That is my point. That is why I'm pro-vax. It's why I got vaccinated in the end of the day. While I was nervous to get the vaccine and hesitant, and my primary care physician kind of said it's really a coin flip, bub. Every time I thought I had COVID, all I could think about were the people I potentially got sick. There's been times where people close to me thought they had it and they didn't, but it was still a panic because I'm immunocompromised. It was just, I care about the people around me. I care about all of you.
I don't consider that
way.
Very dealing with freedom.
Now, the mocking of freedom has been a thing of Biden's for a while now.
Two things that concern me. One are those who just try to make this a political issue. Freedom.
But I'm also the kind of person that if my body produced like big protruding spikes that were dangerous to people who got close to me, I'd probably file them down, even if it hurt. So
I have the
that's just me.
freedom to kill you.
I'm not saying anyone should be like that. That's just me.
With my COVID? No, I mean, come on, freedom.
I'd keep a couple sharp, but like in areas where I could choose to poke you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm a never againer and kind of peace, love, heavy artillery, baby.
Never thought I would hear a president say something like that. And the media picks it up and then repeats it with their own lame flourish. Now the message is to be afraid of those who want freedom.
What you've seen in Canada is others are fearful of these protesters who are arguing for freedom.
Now it's sort of generically anti-government, all wrapped in this sort of notion or the guise of freedom, you know, whatever that means to these individuals.
But freedom for the rest of you to do and speak your mind? No, nah, they don't want that. Here's the way the progs at the CBC describe the word. It's malleable, and a term that thrives among far-right groups. Yet no matter the rubbish they say or publish about this freedom quest spreading across the globe now, the truth about what the powerful did these past 2 years is coming to the fore. It can't be that we live in a country where freedom only exists for the connected and wealthy, who can go maskless at the Super Bowl as third graders sweat it out in N95 masks in class in LA. But they'll always feel justified when they take away your freedom or when they skirt the rules. It's going to be that the roads are dangerous, the climate's warming, the variants are coming, and almost 6 years ago, it was that Trump was running. They had to stop him. Rules be damned.
She's attaching so many threads. She's got a whole Pepe Silva board for her dangle segment, dude. This is all right, lady.
Didn't think twice when
Tell us, Ingram. Good
they
Lord.
locked the children out of schools. And the Clinton campaign didn't think twice when they deployed internet spies in an effort to destroy Trump and nullify your vote.
That was a funny photo of Clinton. Hillary looks a little wild. Lux, I turned Lux onto the show Broad City, and Hillary Clinton has a couple has an appearance in Broad City. And wasn't that awkward? Hillary Clinton's appearance on Broad City?
Yeah, it was pretty awkward.
Just a little weird. Just a little weird how it was in there like that. Anyway.
Even though the ends for them always justify the means, we know what was going on. And the press, they did too. But they didn't cover the stories that mattered. They covered them up. But here's the good news. The anti-freedom coalition is unraveling. And
oh no, it's unraveling anti-freedom. Fox News has turned into Alex Jones, or vice versa.
That's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
But, you know, I think they're, oof, ooh. A love fraud guy. Oh, there's a love fraud story on Banfield, guys. Shout out Banfield from News Nation, man. We watch her a lot on like the Hangout and
Welcome to Banfield. Hold on to your hat, your wallet, and your heart. Tonight, a tale.
I got a feeling I'm not gonna have this problem with this particular gentleman. I don't think I'll ever have to worry about that guy taking my monies. But yo, if you've ever swindled a lady because you sling good D, that's that's you need a documentary because I want to.
That's got everything from love, laughter,
that's
betrayal,
hilarious.
and greed to great fortunes won and lost and exotic destinations. And according to the U.S. government, after this weekend, this story could be all about you. The Federal Trade Commission, the agency in charge of protecting us, protecting the American consumer, has just released an advisory about the biggest fraud across the country right now, and it goes straight to the heart. Romance scams. Yes, I said it, romance fraud. It is now bigger than bank fraud. It is even bigger than healthcare fraud. And if you're saying, I would never fall for a love scam, well, then maybe count yourself among one of the lucky, because based on the FTC's warning, it is happening to far more people than you think. In fact, 80% more people in 2021 were swindled by wannabe Romeos than the year before. And then check out this number. It climbs to 600% when compared to 2017. In dollar amounts, it means $547 million were stolen by love scammers just last year. That is over $500 million. And in the past 5 years, regular people just looking for love have lost $1.3 billion.
What?
And it's not just a few people losing a lot of money either. The average person lost about $2,400.
Do you hear these statistics? That's crazy. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Spending money for love.
That's hundreds of thousands of victims, people being taken for a very expensive ride. But why are they being so easily taken? We all
Why?
know
Tell us.
con artists are out there. I mean, right now, one of the most popular Netflix movies on out there is a documentary called The Tinder Swindler.
It's a documentary I fell asleep during. Is the end of the Tinder Swindler good?
I mean, it was okay.
I passed out so hard. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
They got him on it, but it just didn't end the way that anybody wanted it to.
Solid C.
Yeah.
It's a C. You know, Tinder Swindler, a C.
A true story about a serial romance scammer. So shouldn't people know better? The problem is the internet and online dating.
Oh.
While it has done wonders for helping people find that special someone, it's also made it much
This person has Tinder and Grindr.
easier for crooks to find that special someone.
Ain't okay, Cupid and Bonfire. This month.
They can pose as anyone they want, and they
It's out
can learn
here
everything about
bumping
you
and grinding.
before you even think about swiping right.
Oh no.
I want to bring in someone who unfortunately
Whoever's phone that was is a monster. Needs to be stopped. They're spreading HPV or something.
knows all about this and all too well. Rebecca D'Antonio lost $100,000 to an online dating con man. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tell me what happened to you.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me. I had never tried online dating before, and I had never even known that romance scams were a thing. So,
Oh, they are, girl.
of course, when it happened to me, it took a while to sort of figure out that that's what had actually happened.
They get in close. They give you that D. They ask, "What's the last 4 of your social?"
friend of mine had decided that she was going to try online dating, and she had never done it before. And since I hadn't been in a relationship in a while, I thought, well, this is, feels like a new thing. Let me give it a shot. And
Let me try it out. So you tell me this is your first time on online dating, you got swindled?
so I signed up
Like the first time you tried it was also when you got swindled? That sucks.
on a site that I knew to be, or at least thought to be, reputable, which was OkCupid. And I knew it to be reputable because I know friends that have met their significant others and are married with children
Nah, there's troll accounts everywhere.
now. So I thought that, okay, well, I'm going to be really smart about this. I really don't want a one-night stand or, to be a notch in someone's bedpost. So I'm going to basically put in my profile that this is the box that I come in. This is what I expect in a relationship. This is what I won't put up with in a relationship.
Here's how much I make a year. Here's my credit score.
And what I didn't realize at the time, because of course awareness is key, was that I was creating kind of a roadmap around what would have been red flags for me. And so one of the details that I actually put in my profile, because of course in developing feelings for someone and moving forward with a relationship, I didn't want to have unrealistic expectations of each other, was that I love children, but I can't biologically have children.
Mhm.
So essentially what had happened was, in order to get to know each other and chat on the platform, you have to both like each other. And so enter Matthew into the picture, who was a single father of a young son. His wife had passed away a couple years before from cancer. He was originally from Australia, who had been adopted into the United States, so he had a bit of an accent, which of course I loved. And he was having some trouble with the platform, so we moved off the platform and started talking on the phone, emailing, sending text messages, using Facebook Messenger quite a bit. And we had really hit it off because, as I soon, well, not so soon learned, actually, this scam had taken place over the course of a year.
He was in the long game, dude. Man, these love fraud people. This is juicy. Man, she got gamed, dude. She got gamed by a dude who, man, men are out here doing that. I didn't realize it was like, there were a couple of those going on at a time. I think it was like serial killers with like 35 active love frauders on OkCupid alone. Like, whoa, they've scammed millions.
What? They know what to say to disarm you. They know what to say to make you feel valued. This is their bread and butter. So
it's their bread and practice
at it.
Right, and you gave them that roadmap, right, Rebecca? So he knew exactly how to push your buttons and where your vulnerabilities were.
You do fill out a bio. That's a good point. These dating apps have made it easier for the love fraudsters, for the grifters, for the love grift. You put a specific list of like, this is what I expect, and they're like, well, here's every bit of that. Now, what's your social?
So, as I understand it, they mined some photos from a New England attorney and used those photos to say, this is who I am, a nice-looking guy. Yep. But the big question I think a lot of people would have is, it's totally understandable that you could fall in love. I mean, words are worth, everything. However, you'd never met him. You'd never seen him in person. And then the requests for money started coming. So how did you accommodate for that and think, yeah, this is okay?
Well, we had decided that we would meet after his next business trip, which he was actually taking his son on. And he was an oil magistrate, an oil contractor, so a lot of his travel was international. And so while he was on that business trip, they looked for that hook. They looked for that, what's that thing that is going to make someone send a little bit of money? And for me, unfortunately, it was the child. He had presented me with what was, to me, a very plausible scenario, which is that the cards that he was using for his expenses had stopped working. And I had traveled internationally, and you can notify the bank 5 times that you're traveling, and something like that still happened. It had happened to me. So to me, that was very plausible. And I had asked all the questions one would ask, like, gee, isn't there someone else that you could appeal to? We're very, relatively new in this relationship. We still haven't met yet in person. This is a work trip. Can't your work help you? And
yeah, why would you need me to give you money for what?
Of course, he's an independent contractor, so that complicated matters.
They have an answer for everything, don't they?
He did. He had an answer for all the things, and the hook that got me was the fact that his son was with him.
Oh, dude has a son. Talking about a work trip, independent contractor. Ooh, I wonder if he even looks like the photos she's seen at this point.
I'm going to be the horrible person that left a child in a bad situation.
Of course. Again, pressing your buttons because he knew about your desire to have children and couldn't have them. So here's the big question. At some point, you realized that you were in the hole for $100,000 and you started to recognize that this was a scam. When you confronted him, as I understand, you've been very public about this, you told him that you were at such a depth in your life because of this that you were contemplating suicide. What was his response?
I will never forget, we were speaking on the phone. It was the last time that we spoke. And the level of indifference in his voice when he said this to me, I'll never forget it. He said, well, you have to do what you have to do.
What?
It's just.
Whoa. Whoa. Ew.
It's unbearable to think that.
Ew.
Did anyone ever help you? Did anyone ever trace who it was? Did you find out who it was? And I guess most importantly, did you get your money back?
Well, I had at the time that this was all kind of wrapping up and I was entering the next phase of my nightmare, which ended up being bankruptcy. It was a friend of mine that, sort of held my hand through it all. And with her, I became braver to let a few more of people know what had actually happened, because my friends knew that there was this relationship. What they didn't know was this hidden financial dynamic, because it is very much an emotional and financial rape. I really needed that hand holding. I really needed that shoulder and that hand up to have the courage to take the next steps. And so I had friends had found me a wonderful support group called Scam Haters United.
Scam Haters.
With them, they were
Scam Haters United. Ooh, there's a group now. It's called Scam Haters United. They busting love frauders. They need to get their Dog the Bounty Hunter needs to be Bounty Hunter. What was it, Carla?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter Carla from Love Fraud.
the ones that actually, because
She needs to
they
get
had
together
been
with
through the
scam-
same thing, were able to
scam
help
haters.
me to digest and to sort of put it all together, what actually happened to me. And then from there, I went through the bankruptcy process. I never did get my money back from the scammers. It's very hard to do that with international law and other obstacles to overcome. I did.
Was it determined that it was an international syndicate? So many of them are based out of Nigeria. They're actually criminal gangs that pose as a lover.
Yes. It was a criminal gang out of Nigeria, and they were using the scam. They have a playbook that they basically use to scam people. And so that's what is believed to have happened, that they were using this scam playbook to swindle me out of my money. I did get money back, but it wasn't from the scammers. So Western Union and MoneyGram, which are wiring conduits, were found to be at fault by the FTC and the DOJ. And there's been class action lawsuits, and I am part of both class actions. The Western Union one is finished, and the MoneyGram one is in process. And I have
there's a little.
I've seen some.
I mean, it's a little, right?
Yeah, it's a little.
But it's not it's not the heartache. You can never get that back. Rebecca, thank you for sharing this. I know you share this so that other people can be aware that there are real victims that can fall for this.
Yes, just, I guess a lot of people. Whoa, that's crazy.
But I really appreciate you telling your story tonight. Thank you so much.
Happy to do it. Thank you for having me.
So how can we catch these heartless love crooks? And how can we be really sure those potential romances aren't really a scheming band of common thieves in a land far, far away? Dan Eckhart is an attorney and a former federal agent and prosecutor. Bella Gandhi is a relationship expert and the founder of the Smart Dating Academy.
She got a round table on it, man. How are these people getting swindled?
And Tim McGinnis is the founder of the Society of Citizens Against
Yeah, I like long-haired glasses guys vibe.
Romance Scams, a worldwide nonprofit that supports and advocates for victims of online dating scams. Welcome to all three of you. Tim, I want to begin with you. I just listened to Rebecca's story, and it's just heartbreaking because these are real emotions, and she called it an emotional and financial rape, and I think that is a very apt description. Yeah. But is there anyone who falls victim to this more than others? Any demographic? Is it women? Is it men? Or is everybody at risk?
There's slightly more men than women, but the definition of what this is it's a relationship scam. It's based upon a trust relationship between the scammers. There is no he, by the way. It is a they. Scammers work in teams of professional individuals that do their part over the lifetime of the individual scam. But it is a profoundly traumatic experience. And unfortunately, there are vast numbers of organizations out there, like the one mentioned, that are not legally authorized to support scam victims. Our organization is registered with the Department of Homeland Security, DOJ, and we are, in fact, a Federal Trade Commission Sentinel reporting partner. So our organization is a global organization that supports scam victims worldwide, a little over 7 million victims in the last 6 years. The problem with the demographic is that it is a spectrum running from teenagers all the way to the elderly.
Oh, so there is actually, there's young cats getting involved there, giving their parents money away to scammers.
The younger tend to be scammed more often, and their resiliency is stronger, so it has less traumatic impact on them. But as you get older, these relationships are deep, profound, lasting, the equivalent of a legitimate husband.
Lost in millions in 2021, $547 million lost to love scammers, Tinder swindlers. That's an astronomical number.
In spouse relationship. And as a result,
COVID, man, forced people onto those apps and stuff, you know?
when it terminates, it's profoundly traumatic, and it can leave victims in severe, literally up to and including full-blown PTSD. And whatever support and recovery programs must incorporate a trauma-informed perspective on this.
Yeah, these are the average losses, by the way, on the screen right now in your, 18 to 29 phase.
Low.
It's that's low. Those are low numbers.
Yes. The
wow,
average
that's for the Federal Trade Commission number.
Adult,
so yeah.
The average for an adult is $14,500 per the FBI. See, the problem with all numbers that you reported is they're grossly low. Not your fault, but it is the federal government can only report what's actually reported to them.
Oh, so there's a lot of this that out of shame goes unreported. That makes sense.
To them, yep, that makes
only
sense.
1% of victims report. You have to take these numbers and multiply them by 100 to 200 to come up with realistic numbers.
To get the real story. Bella, let's talk a little bit about the breakdown of the victims. According to the FTC, and again, for what that's worth, men are more likely to engage in risky decisions, apparently, when it comes to online dating. They're less likely to do background checks than women. And they're more likely to let a stranger pick them up at their home, as is evidenced by this statistic here. Men, 36% of the time will say, sure, go ahead, pick me up at home, whereas women will only do that 14% of the time. It's usually a pretty old trope that the con man is preying on the wealthy widow, Bella, but do we make the same mistakes? Do men and women make the same mistakes when it comes to being conned and swindled at this level?
Yeah, we've seen both men and both women go through heartbreaking and traumatic things. And to your point, right, evolution, men are wired to protect and provide. And along with that, so many can feel more immortal and invincible. So we
machismo working against them, toxic machismo, something that we've built that works against us, no space for our feelings, and it's unfortunate, and Breed's a pretty callous type of person, in my opinion. I like her interpretation of this phenomenon.
We at Smart Dating Academy, we're always cautioning our male clients, don't agree. It's very chivalrous and gentlemanly to ask somebody to pick them up at their house, but be wary of doing that. Don't do it. Don't go into neighborhoods where you're unfamiliar. We live in this world, and you have to behave in a safe manner. But both men and women, when they're we've been through 2 years of COVID isolation, and we've been alone and unplugged. And when you feel like you're in that dark place and that nobody's going to love you, there's no lid to your pot out there, suddenly, boom, when you get, it's a match. And it seems to be, somebody that's an oil magnate or a beautiful woman who's 25 years younger than you. People can get sucked in really easily because it appeals to their deepest desires, which is to find love.
We just want to find love. And boy, there's a drug right there. Love is a drug, and it can make you think and do crazy things as well.
It can make you jump off a bridge naked. It can make you cross the street naked.
Dan, let's talk a little bit about the logistics of it. You heard Rebecca say that she couldn't get her 100,000 back, but she got some things back from some agencies that were a part of this crime, and that is the wiring agencies and banks. But realistically, Dan, how hard is it, and how much are you going to get back of what you lost if you go through those agencies?
Realistically, it's very, very difficult to get anything back because of the nature of the crimes. Most of these crimes are committed by overseas gangs. Some of them in Africa. We've got gangs out of China, former Soviet bloc countries. The clearinghouse for the information is going to be the FBI. It's the Internet Crime Complaint Center, which is a website, which is really probably the first place you should go, is go to the FBI's website. You make a report, and they will try to, again, combine this information with other victims. The other place to go is your bank. Interesting enough, banks have informal channels where they can go bank to bank and try to recapture some of these funds if it's done quickly. But at the end of the day...
But at the end of the day, if you sign over willingly a bunch of money and you wait years to talk about it, it might be gone. Better be ready to have some extra money to open some litigation against that person and be able to prove it, because holy crap, is this a pickle to be in, man. What a swindle.
Day, you're probably out of luck.
What a
It's
grift.
almost impossible to get that money back because it's someplace, it's been transferred to Nigeria, then back to China, then who knows where.
Okay, I just want to read off a list of some of the 4 common best tips for anyone out there to be able to see the red flags, and this comes courtesy of the FTC as well. Nobody legitimate is ever going to ask you to send them cryptocurrency or give gift card numbers or wire them money. Anybody who does it, big red flag, likely.
If you're on a dating app and they're like, yo, send me a gift card so I can get to this date, don't do it, dude.
A scam. Number 2, never send money to a stranger. If you have not met this person, do not send money. Don't think a photo is the same as meeting someone in person. And even after meeting them in person, there's a lot of, caution you have to actually employ. Don't take investment advice or counsel or invest in things they recommend either. Talk to friends and family. If you've got a new love, pay attention. They might be concerned, and it's good to hear what they have to say. Just bounce it off someone else. Don't be alone in your thoughts. And then this one might be the best one. Do a reverse image search. Oh boy, can you catch people in a lie when you do that? Because these people have to steal the photos from somewhere. And chances are they had to steal the photos from the internet.
Reverse image searches, man. That's how we know there's also a Matt Mann and a Matt LaFountain with the Lauren Smith Fields case. So just saying, man, hit that reverse image search. I don't know if you guys knew that you could do that, but if you're in the dating world, check that out.
And chances are you can do the reverse photo search and find those photos.
Lux ran a whole background search on my ass. I should pull federal resources out to do it.
Somewhere else belonging to a legitimate person. Dan Eckert, Bella Gandhi, and Tim McGinnis, I can't thank you enough for your guidance. Thanks so much. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more.
I already have Banfield. And that goes to you out there in YouTube world. Be sure to hit that red subscribe button, hit that notification bell to know every time we go live. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, guys. All right. I say we wind her on down for the day. It's been a great hangout. I'm really glad you guys all stopped by and chit-chatted with me. I've still got a conspiracy chub from talking with a special guest about Trudeau maybe being a Castro bastard. The Ukrainian conflict maybe being used to barrage the press with info and stories that aren't some of the scandalous stuff happening internally for every nation involved. The strange difference in opinion on, is Russia actually pulling out forces? NATO says no. Some people on the ground say it looks like it. Some people are like, Russia moves troops all the time. Who knows? But either way, I've still got kind of a conspiracy chub on it. It feels like we're in the same realm as Alex Jones is right now with it, and that's always an interesting place to be when you end up aligned with Alex Jones on a particular conspiracy. We heard Alex Jones go off on Trudeau. That was interesting. Selena in Wales says, it's almost 9 p.m. having a smoke in the garden under an umbrella. Been nice hanging out. Been nice hanging out with you too, Selena, and special guests and everybody that's rolled through. Again, smash that like button for me. The likes and the subscribes, all these healthy chats, this really helps me in the algorithm and helps us breed new Murkies into the cult of the Hangout. So thank you guys. Thank you, Justin, for being here with me. I've got your at the end credits here at Thicket Craft Forge. We got Lux over here working from home. She's off cam. But you've probably seen me talk to Lux if you've been around today. That's the Queen. I game on her channel. Shout out Iro. I talked a bit about gaming with Iro. Hopefully Wednesday we can squeeze in another Hearts of Iron session. I want another 4 hours of juicy Hearts of Iron gameplay. I want to conquer the world. And then I want to conquer space with Chief in video games. Anyway, I love you guys to death. I'll talk to you later.